Chapter 1955. Sima Yue was surprised when she heard his words. Could he be referring to her when he said that she was the one who could release electricity? Was he really like what those people said? Was she the person he had been looking for? It couldn't be. Sima Yue had yet to come back to her senses when the little boy suddenly jumped down from the lion's back and ran towards her. He raised his head and looked at her. "Girl, you came from that side just now. Did you see the person who was releasing electricity? Aren't you afraid of me?" Sima Yue asked. He was so wary of those people just now. How did he run to her so easily? "You didn't want to kill me. Why should I be afraid of you?" The little boy said, "Tell me where the person who is giving off electricity is. I'll give you walnuts to eat, okay?" With that, he took out a few walnuts and handed them to Sima Yue. Sima Yue looked at the walnuts in his hand. They were the same ones she saw by the pond. She took the walnuts and held them in her hand without eating them. She asked, "I can tell you, but you have to tell me, why are you looking for her? You made such a big commotion just to find her." "Yes." The little boy nodded. "You took my walnuts. Tell me, where did she go? You haven't answered me yet. Why are you looking for her?" Sima Yue said, "I'm looking for her to save my life." The little boy replied, "Save your life? Why are you looking for her to save your life? You haven't seen her before. How do you know that she can save you?" "Because—" The little boy suddenly reacted and shook his head. "I can't tell you this. Hurry up and tell me where that person went. She's going to leave soon. It wasn't easy for me to come up with this idea to find her." Sima Yue saw that he was anxious and stopped teasing him. She said, "I'm the one who can give off electricity. Can you tell me now?" "You?" The little boy took 2 steps back and looked at her from head to toe. "You're different from what others told me. Are you really the one who can release electricity?" Sima Yue condensed some lightning attributes. The lightning sizzled in her palm, making the little boy extremely excited. "Wow, I've finally found you. Woo-woo, if I still can't find you, I'm going to die." The little boy started crying as he spoke. If Sima Yue had not stopped him, he would have rushed to her side. Sima Yue looked at him in confusion. When he stopped crying, she asked, "Who told you that I can save you?" "It's my second master. He's a very powerful divinator." The little boy said, "He said you can save me. Why should I save you?" Sima Yue held little Z in her arms and asked when she saw how sure he was. "Someone told me that if I show you this, you'll promise me." The little boy took out a jade tablet and handed it to Sima Yue. Sima Yue was stunned when she saw the jade tablet. She took the jade tablet and looked at it carefully. She said, "Who gave this to you?" "It's my master's friend. He said to give this to you when he sees you. He also asked me to tell you that he's fine, but he can't come back for the time being." The little boy looked at her expectantly. "You'll save me, right?" Sima Yue's tears fell down. "Yes, I'll save you. Thank you." The little boy jumped up happily and took out a few walnuts for her. "I'll treat you to walnuts." Sima Yue saw that he was so happy. She looked down at the jade tablet in her hand with tears in her eyes. He said that he was fine, but he couldn't come back for the time being. After so many years, she finally heard news of him again. "Martial uncle, if Master and the others knew that you sent back news, I don't know how happy they would be." She murmured softly. This jade tablet said that it belonged to the old principal of the heavenly sect, her martial uncle Yuan Shaojie. The familiar aura on it reminded her of the few times they met. Ever since he left with Su Jin and the others, there had been no news of him. She didn't expect that a strange little boy would come to her with his keepsake. Sima Yue looked at the nether beasts that surrounded them and said, "Since you found me, let these nether beasts go back." The little boy quieted down and said, "That's true. You guys go back." "Oh, roar!" The nether beasts growled one after another, as if responding to him. Then they all turned and left. "All right." The little boy clapped his hands and jumped in front of Sima Yue. "My name is Fushi. What's your name?" "You don't know my name?" "I don't know." Second Master didn't say. He just said that he would send me to the world where you are, that you can discharge electricity, and that you can save me. He didn't say anything else. When Fushi said this, he complained to Second Master. Second Master likes to pretend to be a swindler. He always speaks half of the words. "If he told me directly who you are, would I have to look for you so hard?" He always likes to say that the secrets of heaven can't be revealed. TSK, he's just pretending. Sima Yue saw his angry little face and heard his complaints. She laughed. Wasn't that right? Divinator liked to use this sentence to fob others off. She didn't know if he really couldn't say it, and he even said that they didn't know. However, from the jade tablet given by the old principal, they knew her identity. They just didn't tell her. My name is Sima Yue. Sima Yue said, You've been in the ghost realm for so long. Haven't you heard of my name? Don't you know that I can discharge electricity? The little boy shook his head. I accidentally showed my control over the underworld beast before, and then they guessed that I have the Dragon God Order. I've been hiding in the mountains for the past 2 years, and then I thought of this way to lure you here. I had no choice. If I didn't find you, I would have died. Is it that serious? Sima Yue looked at him. His complexion was all right, and he didn't look like he was going to die. It's true. Fushi said, Don't think that I'm fine now. Maybe I'll die one day. Let me take a look at your body first. Sima Yue grabbed his wrist and checked him. When she found out about his situation, she couldn't help but widen her eyes. How old are you? 250 this year. Fushi pouted. This number was really annoying. When did you get the Dragon God Order? More than 7 years old. Since then, my body hasn't grown. If it weren't for Master and the others who tried their best, I'm afraid I wouldn't have lived until now. Fushi said rather sadly. Fortunately, a few years ago, Second Master suddenly said that he had a way, and then sent me here. Sima Yue also checked the condition of his body. If it weren't for them thinking of many ways, he really wouldn't have lived until today. Then did your master say how to save you? Chapter 1956. No. Fushi shook his head, but Master said to find someone who can release electricity, it should be related to this. You want me to strike you with electricity? Sima Yue asked. No, that will hurt. Fushi looked at her in horror. He was afraid that she would suddenly strike him with a bolt of lightning. If that happened, he would die. Don't worry. Since you have the old principal's jade token, I won't kill you. Sima Yue patted his head. I will study it carefully before making a move. I feel that your smile is so scary. Fushi shrunk his neck, muttering in his heart that the person Master found was not reliable. How am I scary? I'm just interested in you. Sima Yue laughed. This is the first time I have seen such a situation. You have quite the research value. You want to treat me as a lab rat? Fushi shouted. Sima Yue glanced at him. Do you have any other ideas? All right. He didn't. He could only be treated as a lab rat by her. You don't have to be so scared. You also knows some things about the Dragon God Order. Wait for him to come down. Maybe he will have some ideas. Sima Yue saw his face scrunched up like a bun and said with a smile, MOU? Don't tell me it's that MOU. Fushi's face was even more embarrassed. He hoped that the MOU she was talking about was not the MOU he met before. However, Sima Yue smashed his hopes with a smile. It's the MOU you tricked before. How do you know him? Why don't you not wait for him? Let's go now. Fushi looked around, afraid that MOU would suddenly appear. What did you do to him? He is so scared. Sima Yue was very curious about what happened between the two. One was so scared, the other was willing to follow her to find him. This was probably not an ordinary trap. Actually, it's nothing. Fushi said, I took a very ordinary thing and sold it to him, saying that it was a treasure and sold it for a high price. He's never seen that thing before, and it has our spiritual power, so he naturally thinks it's not an ordinary item. But if you study it carefully, you'll find that it's actually useless. Sima Yue knew why MOU was angry. He was an all-powerful figure in the ghost realm, but he was deceived by a little girl. It was not a big deal, but it was a loss of face for him. Later, when I heard his name from others, I realized that I had tricked a very powerful guy. I knew that these old men didn't care about money. They only cared about their reputation. So, if I met him, he would definitely cause me trouble. So, Yue, let's leave quickly. Fushi looked at her pleadingly. Sima Yue shrugged. It's too late. He's already back. Ah! Fushi screamed and jumped up. He looked left and right and finally ran behind her. He stuck his head out and asked, Where? Sima Yue pointed to the sky. Fushi looked up and saw a few people coming down from above. When Mo saw Fushi, he immediately went up and picked him up. His face was as ugly as the stone in the latrine. "You brat, you actually dare to appear in front of me. See how I'll deal with you this time." As he said that, he slapped Fushi's butt. "I'm gonna be beaten to death by him. You have to save me." Fushi cried out, "You're not a child anymore. There's no use crying." And Mo said as he hit him a few more times, "Take it easy. Don't hurt him." Sima Yue warned Mo. Yue, I'm your man now. If you don't save me, I'll lose my life." Fushi screamed and looked at Sima Yue pitifully. But his words made Wu Lingyu's face darken. "You're saying that you're one of her people?" The bone-chilling voice made Fushi shudder uncontrollably. Who was this person? Why was he so fierce? "You already agreed to take me in. Of course I'm her man." In order to get rid of Mou, Fushi chose to ignore Wu Lingyu's ugly face. From his point of view, Wu Lingyu was not as dangerous as Mou. It was more important to save his life. Just as Wu Lingyu was about to explode, Sima Yue grabbed him and said to Mou, who was hitting Fushi, "His body is very weak now. He'll calm down after a few hits." "That's right. At most, I'll return it to you." Fushi nodded in agreement. It would have been better if she didn't mention this. Now that she mentioned it, Mou's anger rose again. He picked him up and hit him a few more times before letting him go. Sima Yue showed the old principal's jade tablet to Wu Lingyu and said, "He brought this here. That old man is still alive." Wu Lingyu looked at the jade tablet. His cold face finally relaxed. Sima Yue told them about Fushi's situation. Only then did they understand the cause and effect of this matter. It turned out that he was the one who took care of everything. He made them come here for nothing and even encountered an assassination attempt. But without him, they wouldn't know about the old principal situation. Mou, you have some understanding of the Dragon God Order. Do you know how to save him? Sima Yue asked. Save what? It's best if this kind of person who's full of lies dies. Mou said lightly. Fushi broke free from his hand and ran to Sima Yue's side. He made a face at him. Okay, I'm talking to you about serious matters. Sima Yue protected Fushi. Although she knew that he was 250 years old, his body still looked very deceptive. Moreover, he was someone introduced by the old principal. No matter what, she had to help him solve this matter. First, tell me, where did you come from? Mou asked. This is a secret. I can't tell you. Fushi said. Why can't I tell you? People who come from our place can't say the name of that place. This is the rule. Fushi insisted. Other than this, you can ask about anything else. But I'm interested in your place. Only when I know where you come from can I use this to see if your body is different from ours. Fushi hesitated for a moment. Anyway, we're much more advanced than your place. You just need to know this. Sima Yue and the others looked at each other. A continent that was more advanced than their place. And he couldn't just tell anyone. That place, Wu Lingyu grabbed Fushi's hand. With a sweep of spirit energy, a small wound appeared on his hand. Fushi held his hand and cried out. Golden blood flowed out from between his fingers. Although it was very little, it still stunned everyone present. As expected, Wu Lingyu and Mou said at the same time. The two of them looked at each other, and their eyes were the same. They already knew the place Fushi was talking about. It was a place that only existed in legends. Chapter 1957. Everyone welcomes you. Please remember the address of this website so that you can read the latest chapters of Crazy Wife, Fifth Miss Divine Doctor. Sima Yue looked at them in confusion. What do they know? Fushi was even more surprised. He looked at the two of them and asked, How did you know? It's simple. People with golden blood can only be found in that legendary place. And Mou said, I didn't expect you to say that you came from that place. No wonder he couldn't recognize the thing that Fushi took out. No one had ever seen the thing from that place. I won't say anything. I won't say anything. I won't say anything even if you ask me. Fushi covered his mouth. He looked as if he didn't want to know anything from them. Where's that place? Sima Yue asked. It's a place where gods live. Wu Lingyu said, I always thought it was just a legend. I didn't expect it to really exist. Sima Yue recalled the scene she saw in the chaotic river. Those creatures that came up from the river all left in the end. As for where they went, no one knew. It seemed that other than the Nine Nether clan, everyone else had disappeared. Perhaps they really went to a higher level place. Since your place is higher level than this place, why can't you solve your problem? Sigh. I'm also depressed about this. But there's no way. Fushi sighed. Maybe if I were here, I would have died on the spot. I wouldn't even be alive now. That's true. Then let's go back and do some research. See if we can find a way to solve your problem. Sima Yue said, Did you kill all those people? No. This answer surprised Sima Yue. Did these guys have a change of heart? And Moyu said that they were all his old friends. That's why they were only heavily injured and not killed. However, this is the only time. Wu Lingyu said, With this, they can be considered to have answered to the Anaheim. That's why they won't find trouble with Yue in the future. And Moyu explained, If it's a next time, they'll be dead. Black Shadow snorted. Let's leave this place first. There are many people coming here. Sima Yue said, All right. They wanted to fly away, but Fushi grabbed on his Sima Yue's clothes and said pitifully, Bring me along, I can't fly. Wu Lingyu pulled his hand down and said coldly, I'll take you. Fushi shrunk his neck and thought to himself, Why is this person so cold? It's too scary. He wanted to protest because he did not want him to bring him along, but Sima Yue had already flown away. Looking at the remaining MOU, he decided to forget about it. What if he threw him down from midair? This kind of old man's personality was too difficult to grasp. It was better for him to follow this ice block. They left the Blue Cloud mountain range. Once they were far away from the crowd, MOU called out the little red bird and left. After flying for a long time, they finally arrived at a small, inconspicuous city. They went to find an inn to stay in. MOU very heroically booked the entire inn, making the shopkeeper extremely happy. Fushi followed behind Sima Yue and said, Yue, when are you going to do it for me? He felt that he was losing control of his power. He was afraid that he would suddenly die one day. Sima Yue understood his worries. It was the same as when she saw her power increase. It was like a ticking time bomb. Who knew when it would explode? Don't worry. Since I promised you, I will do my best. She patted his head, but not now. Why? We have to get rid of those people who are following us. If I start treating you without a stable environment, it will be irresponsible of you. Sima Yue said, Although those people won't cause any danger, there is still a problem. Someone is following us. Aren't they afraid of you and MOU? Fushi asked. Their status was not something that ordinary people could compare to. Following them like this, weren't they afraid of being killed? For the mythical dragon order, there will always be people who will take risks. Sima Yue said, You were introduced by the old principal. I will ensure your safety. Fushi heard her words and looked at her blankly. Her smile was so comfortable. Although her words were not passionate, he could feel her determination. She said that she would ensure his safety. He believed her. He smiled at her, and his round eyes narrowed into thin slits. Those who knew him well knew that this was his true smile. You haven't rested for a long time, right? Go find a room and have a good rest. I will call you after we take care of those people. Sima Yue said, Yue, why are you so good to me? Fushi looked up and asked, You were introduced by the old principal. I believe in his judgment. He will not introduce some rascal to me. Moreover, I understand your anxious and worried feelings. Sima Yue replied with a smile. You also understand? Yes, I know what it feels like to have an uncertain force in your body. Why? Have you experienced it before? Yes, I have experienced it before. Do you know why I came to the Ghost Realm? It was because I could not control the force in my body. In the end, my body exploded and I died. So, I understand your feelings. I will not let you experience that kind of pain. Sima Yue comforted him. His agitated heart finally calmed down. How long? It had been since he was so quiet. He looked at her back view, and his lips moved. His innocent eyes surged with a layer of darkness. She was really a woman that he could not see through. However, he liked her and wanted to get close to her. She was different from those people, right? Wu Lingyu stood in front of him and blocked his view. He looked at him coldly. Fushi thought he would say something, but he only gave him a look and left. What a possessive guy. Fushi muttered, I'm just a little girl, but he is so fierce. Although his heart was not like that. Perhaps, this time, not only can I heal my body, I will also have an unexpected gain. He smiled and hummed a little tune. He skipped to his room to rest. Just as Sima Yue said, he had not had a good rest for a long time. Although he could let the underworld beast protect him when he walked in the mountains, he had never really relaxed. He was either worried about being hunted down or thinking about when his body would explode. Now, with her, his heart had calmed down. He could also sleep peacefully. If even she couldn't do anything about it, then perhaps it was the end of his life. I have almost finished all the walnuts I cracked. When I have time, I will crack some more and invite her to eat with me. Chapter 1958. Everyone welcomes you. Please remember the address of this website so that you can read the latest chapters of Crazy Wife, 5th Miss Divine Doctor. They knew that many people were chasing after them. Although they couldn't help but sigh at how bold they were, they also understood the attractiveness of treasures. It wasn't surprising that they would do something like this. Therefore, they didn't want to kill those people directly. Instead, they stayed in the inn for 2 days and left quietly. As for where they went, no one knew. Those who followed them couldn't find them after searching around, so they could only leave unwillingly. However, they didn't give up and went to other places to search. After waiting for them to leave, Sima Yue and the rest appeared in the inn again. All right, it's finally quiet now. Sima Yue said to Fushi after realizing that everyone had left. Let's study your situation now. Okay. Fushi had long thought about it. Seeing that she was finally going to study him, he jumped up and down happily. Yue, what do you want me to do? Tell me about your situation in the past. And what did your master and the rest do? Sima Yue said, When I was 7 years old, I made a bet with someone and ran into a ruin alone. Then I found a dragon god order there. Later, my father and the rest told me that it was the dragon god ruins. However, other people went there many times and couldn't find the dragon god order. I don't know why I found it. Fushi was speechless. If those people found the dragon god order, he wouldn't have to suffer for so many years. Sima Yu raised her eyebrows when she heard this and said, I heard Mou say that the mythical dragon order carries most of the strength of the mythical dragon and some of its consciousness. I heard that it will choose its master by itself. Maybe it chose you. Otherwise, why can't other people find it after so many times, but you, a 7 or 8-year-old kid, found it? Sigh. My master and the rest said the same thing. Fushi sighed. But if it really chose me, why didn't it consider my body? Ever since he made a contract with the Dragon God Order, his body had stopped growing. Until now, he still looked like he was 7 or 8 years old. His master said that it was because the power of the mystical Dragon Order was too strong, and his body couldn't bear it. Instead of giving him strength, his body's functions were suppressed, so he couldn't grow up. Maybe I've waited for too long, but it's useless to think about it. Sima Yue guessed. What did your master get for you? Actually, it's just some medicinal herbs to strengthen my body. These are the lists I've used before. Fushi took out a thick stack of papers. Some of them were medicinal herbs, while others were pill formulas. Sima Yue looked at the pill formulas in astonishment. They described in detail the effects of the pill, the ingredients needed to refine it, and the process. My master said that since he asked for your help, these are his thanks. If you can cure me, I will give you a great gift. Fushi said. Sima Yue didn't have much expectations for the big gift that he was talking about, but she liked the pill recipes quite a bit. She looked at the pill formulas carefully. She felt that they could be used to strengthen her body, which was what she needed now. But now wasn't the time to think about it. She continued to look at the remaining medicinal herbs. She was amazed by the medicinal herbs in their place. It was indeed much better than the medicinal herbs she had seen before. Your master is quite thoughtful. Now that I've seen the pill formulas you gave me, I can't not treat you properly. Sima Yue said her master's thoughts. She placed the stack of papers on the table and tapped it lightly with her right hand. Master did say that. Fushi sat in front of her. He took out a few walnuts and placed them in front of her. Then he took 2 walnuts and ate the pulp. You like eating walnuts? Sima Yue looked at the walnuts. She hadn't eaten the ones he gave her before. Master used to force me to eat them. He said that it was good for me, so that I wouldn't be stupid. After I got used to it, I started to like it. Fushi said, try it. It tastes pretty good. Sima Yue picked one up. It had already been cracked open, but she still had to use some strength to pry it open. She picked out the pulp and tasted it. It tasted pretty good. Once she ate it, she could feel the vigorous spiritual energy inside spreading throughout her body. What surprised her the most was that the spiritual energy didn't scatter around. Instead, it all merged into her bones. It seemed like Master Fushi had found this for her to strengthen her body. This shell is too hard. It's not easy to crack it open. Fushi said, but I found a piece of metal recently. I didn't expect it to be so useful. So when I'm free, I use it to crack it open and save it to eat. Can you keep these shells for me to study? Sima Yue asked. Sure. I don't have any use for them anyway. Fushi answered straightforwardly. Are you going to use them to refine weapons? I heard that it's possible, but I haven't tried it yet. Sima Yue did want to try refining weapons. These are the last few. I'll crack some more for you. Fushi took out a pile of unopened walnuts and then took out a black, squarish lump of iron. He smashed it hard, and cracks appeared on the hard walnut shells. After 2 more knocks, the walnut shells returned to their half-open state. Sima Yue was a little surprised at how hard this piece of metal was. She knew how hard the walnut shells were. Even Mou and the rest couldn't break them. This piece of metal was actually able to crack them open with just a few knocks. It could be seen how powerful this piece of metal was. Fushi cracked a pile of walnuts and placed them all in front of Sima Yue, saying, These are all for you. Sima Yue looked at these walnuts and said, These walnuts aren't cheap. You're giving them to me just like that? It's hard to find, but I have a lot. You don't have to be polite with me. Fushi smiled at her. Then I won't be polite. Sima Yue knew that he definitely had his own secrets. Since he said so, she didn't have to be polite with him. What are you guys talking about? Wu Lingyu and Mou walked in from outside the courtyard. Seeing the 2 of them talking and laughing in the pavilion, they walked over and asked, We're talking about these walnuts. Sima Yue pointed at the walnut shells. I want to try refining them. He gave me a pile. These are all already cracked. This shell isn't easy to crack. Mou said, He has a piece of metal. It's very useful. He can crack 1 in 2 or 3 knocks. Sima Yue said, Oh, normal things aren't that hard. This fellow, don't tell me you're using a divine weapon to crack walnuts? Mou asked. No way. No matter how I look at it, it doesn't look like a divine weapon. Even if it is, it's a broken divine weapon. Because no matter how I use it, it doesn't have any reaction. There's no spiritual energy fluctuation at all. It's just a normal piece of metal. Fushi said as he took out the piece of metal and placed it in front of everyone. Mou saw the appearance, and his breathing tightened. Chapter 1959. Mou looked at the lump of metal and couldn't believe his eyes. It couldn't be real, right? But the shape was exactly the same as what he had seen before. He picked up the lump of metal, took a deep breath, and then turned it over. The faintly discernible North character at the bottom burned his eyes. It's really this. Where did you get this? He said excitedly. I picked it up in the mud. Fushi didn't know why he was so excited, but it seemed like it was a treasure. Sima Yue looked at Mou in shock. When did he become so agitated? Even Wu Lingyu had a look of disbelief. What is this? Why are you guys so excited? She took it from Mou's hands and looked at it, injecting her spiritual energy into it, but found that there was no reaction at all. Wasn't this just a piece of scrap metal? Fushi also looked at her curiously, saying, That's right. What kind of treasure is this? North God Seal. Mou said, Look at this. He turned the North God Seal over and pointed at the faintly discernible North character, saying, The 4 God Seals all look the same. The only difference is the word at the bottom. It really looks like a word. Sima Yue and Fushi came over and saw the faintly discernible word. But this word is really hard to recognize. I couldn't recognize it even after knocking for so long. I thought it was a pattern. Mou, Is this really the four-god seal? Sima Yue said uncertainly, no matter how she looked at it. It looked like a piece of scrap metal. Could it really be used to save her mother? I'm not very sure. Mou was also hesitant. After all, the North God Seal has disappeared for many years. What did you say? Sima Yue's voice suddenly rose, startling Mou, who was deep in thought. Only then did Mou realize what he said, secretly cursing himself for accidentally saying such a big thing when he saw this. He wanted to laugh it off, but Sima Yue stared straight at him, making him unable to say anything. He could only look at Wu Lingyu for help. Sima Yue also looked at Wu Lingyu and asked, "You know about it too?" He was the one who insisted on telling me. Wu Lingyu saw that her aura had changed and hurriedly went forward to grab her shoulders. At this time, her body had already begun to tremble uncontrollably. Yu, don't be anxious. Didn't we find it? If this is true, isn't it just nice to find one? But what if it's not true? Look, it's just a piece of scrap metal. It doesn't even have any spiritual energy. How does it look like an ancient artifact? Sima Yue looked up at him. If this isn't real, what should we do? What should Mother do? Is there a need for me to persist? Wu Lingyu had never seen her like this. He didn't care that there were other people around and hugged her tightly. He patted her back and comforted her. If this isn't true, you don't have to worry. Even if we have to risk our lives, we will break that ancient seal and save your mother. You see, I've waited for so many years for her to come out so that I can marry you. Why would this stop me? Moreover, I think that this is most likely true. Really? That's right. Look at how hard this walnut is. We can't even crush it with our spirit energy, but it can be smashed with a single blow. How can ordinary things be so powerful? Wu Lingyu analyzed, so I think this should be real. After he finished speaking, he glanced at Mou. Mou immediately agreed. Indeed, ordinary spiritual artifacts aren't this powerful. So don't panic. Let's verify it first. Fushi saw that Sima Yue suddenly changed and was shocked. He asked, "Yue, what's wrong with you? Do you want this? I'll give it to you. Don't be like this." As he spoke, he placed the Northern God Seal in her hand and looked up at her. Nothing must happen to her. She was the only person who could save him. If something happened to her, what would he do? Sima Yue held the Northern God Seal and took a deep breath. She tried to calm herself down and said, "How can we confirm if this is true? I'm afraid we'll have to ask your grandfather to confirm it." Mou said, "If we put the two seals together, we should be able to see if this is true. Then let's go back to the palace." Sima Yue said, "Fushi, come back to the palace with me. After we confirm this, we'll deal with your matter. Is that all right?" Fushi looked at her. "Is this very important to you?" "Yes, this is what I've been working towards all these years. If this is fake, She didn't know what would happen to her. "All right then, I'll go back with you." Fushi said, "But you have to protect me." Sima Yue revealed a grateful smile and nodded. "Yes, I'll definitely protect you." Mou and Wu Lingyu saw that she had calmed down and let out a long sigh. Fortunately, she had this with her when she found out about this. At least she still had some hope. Even if it was proven to be fake, she had been mentally prepared for such a long time. At least she wouldn't break down when the time came. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. Thinking of this, Mou looked at Fushi with a much kinder gaze. He really had to thank him for this. If he didn't bring this over, they wouldn't know what to do. Fushi sensed Mou's goodwill and raised his chin at him, looking extremely proud. Without waiting for Mou to reply, he turned his face and didn't look at him. Mou pursed his lips. "This little brat. Since we're going back, let's go now." Sima Yue said, "We'll use the fastest method to go back." When Mou and the others went to make arrangements, Fushi finally had time to ask her, "Yue, is this four cardinal god seal very important to you? What do you want to do with it?" "It's very important." Sima Yue nodded. "My mother was suppressed in the abyss of hell. Because of evil people, the seal that suppressed my mother was replaced with an ancient seal. Only the four cardinal god seal can break it. My mother has been suppressed for more than 100 years. I've always wanted to save her as soon as possible. But my grandfather said that he would only tell me the whereabouts of the 4 cardinal god seal when I break through to the underworld paragon level. Now that I think about it, he probably knew that the North cardinal god seal had disappeared for many years. That's why he used this reason to brush me off, so that I wouldn't lose my goal. I see. I hope this piece of metal is real. Fushi then understood why she lost control just now. If he knew that all his efforts were in vain, he would probably have the same reaction. Thank you, Fushi. Regardless of whether this was real or not, he gave this to her. She would still be grateful. Chapter 1960. Looking at Sima Yuu's serious eyes, Fushi narrowed his eyes and smiled. I like you very much. I'm very happy to be able to help you. Sima Yue touched his head. I will definitely find a way to solve your problem. Well, I believe in you. Fushi also nodded seriously. Believing in her, a woman he had just met, would have seemed strange in the past, but now, he just believed in her. If those people in that place knew about it, their eyes would definitely pop out. Soon, Imoyu came to inform her that they could set off. Although Hei Ying and Huan were a little surprised by her sudden departure, they didn't ask anything and followed her back. Everyone in the palace knew that she was going to come back from her experience. They thought that they wouldn't see her for decades. They didn't expect her to come back so soon. Little princess. Shiyu looked at Sima Yue and was overjoyed. Little princess is back. Lung Yun ran over excitedly and saluted her. Standing in front of her, she didn't know where to put her hands. Little princess. Yang Hui and the others restrained themselves, but the corners of their mouths showed their mood at this time. When Sima Yue saw that they were all fine, without missing an arm or a leg, her worried heart was relieved. They didn't come to make trouble for you, right? No, because the Ghost King said that before you left, you said that no one was allowed to come to Yuhua Palace, so no one came. Little Highness wanted to come before, but she was called back by Anaheim. She replied, Oh, Sima Yue didn't expect Anaheim to be called back by Yu Hao, but she could guess her thoughts. If she killed herself outside, the Ghost King couldn't do anything to her. After all, there was no evidence. But if she made trouble for her in the palace, under the Ghost King's eyes, it would be difficult to explain. Moreover, standing at this height, she didn't put a few palace maids in her eyes. Little princess, didn't you send a message that you were going to come back from your experience? Why are you back so soon? Shiyu didn't want Sima Yue to worry about them, so she asked. Something happened, so I came back early. Sima Yue said, Is grandfather still in seclusion? That's right. Ever since little princess left, His Majesty went into seclusion. He didn't even come out to host the previous competition between the dynasties. This has never happened before. Lung Yun said, In the past, no matter how busy I was, even if I was out of town, I would still rush back to preside over it. This time, it was unknown whether or not he had comprehended the opportunity to advance, but he had been in seclusion. However, that doesn't seem very likely. His Majesty is already a half-step sovereign emperor. He can't advance any further. Yes, in the current world, that was indeed the case. There were no imperial emperors in this world. After becoming a half-step imperial emperor, one would not be able to advance any further. This was something that everyone knew. It was also because of this that Anaheim was not worried about the Ghost King's closed-door cultivation. No matter how much he cultivated in seclusion, he would not be able to advance any further. So, if he wanted to torment himself, then let him torment himself. Anyway, when he wasn't around, she could better seize power. Just like the previous competition between the dynasties, in the end, most of the people became her people. Many dynasties also formally submitted to her power. When he came out of seclusion, he would not be able to do anything to her. Only Sima Yue knew that there were still imperial emperors in this world. Feng Ruyin relied on a secret method to advance to imperial emperor. Although she was not recognized by the heavenly Tao, she was still an imperial emperor. Since she could do it, then he could too. However, before he succeeded, he couldn't say anything about it. Moreover, it was better that they had such thoughts now. At least they would not interrupt his cultivation. So you're the Ghost Realm's little princess. Fushi sized up youthful palace and said, "Although the things here look simple, they are all treasures. Your position in the ghost realm is quite high. Does that mean you can do whatever you want in the ghost realm? Do you think I look like one?" Sima Yue smiled. "No, you seem to have a huge enemy." Fushi said, "You guessed right. That enemy is now in the palace." "What? In the palace?" "Yes, the most powerful woman in the palace." "What? You? Why did you come back like this? Aren't you looking for death?" "Don't worry. She won't dare to touch me here," Sima Yue said confidently. "Why?" "You know," Sima Yue said, "but it's only limited to here. I don't care if you go out." "Little princess, this child is—" Shiyu asked. "His name is Fushi. He's a child I met outside. He will be staying here for a while. Shiyu, arrange for him to be together with Lingyu." Sima Yue ordered. "Yes, little princess." Shiyu and the others were very curious about Fushi. But seeing that Sima Yue didn't plan to say anything, they didn't ask anymore. Instead, they said to Fushi, "Little master, we will take you to rest." Fushi looked at Sima Yue and was reluctant to leave. Sima Yue said to Black Shadow and Huan, "You two go with him." "Fushi, aren't you curious why Anaheim didn't dare to touch me in the palace? They will tell you if you go." Although Fushi didn't want to leave her, he also wanted to know why. So, he could only follow Lung Yun and the others. After he left, Sima Yue said to Yang Hui, "Can we go find grandfather now? The king has been in seclusion and won't see anyone. But now that you are back, I don't know if the king will see you or not." Yang Hui said with uncertainty. The king seemed to be in seclusion and wouldn't see anyone. Since he didn't participate in the dynasty meeting, and even heard that Anaheim didn't see him when she went to find him, it was even more unlikely that he wouldn't see anyone else. But the little princess was very special to the king, so he didn't know if the king would see her. Sima Yue was a little hesitant. The matter of the 4 cardinal heavenly seal was very important to her. She couldn't wait to know the results. But cultivation was also very important to the Ghost King, and she didn't know what stage he was at now. Was he at a critical moment? She couldn't just disturb him rashly and delay him. After hesitating for a while, she still went to the place where the Ghost King cultivated. At this time, 2 new guards were guarding the door. When they saw her, they bowed respectfully. "Little princess, is grandfather still in seclusion?" Sima Yue asked. "Yes. After I left, did grandfather come out?" "No." "Oh." She looked at the door and hesitated. In the end, she didn't go over. She said to the guards, "When grandfather comes out, tell him that I'm back." "Yes, little princess." Sima Yue looked at the door reluctantly. In the end, she made up her mind and left. This matter should wait until he comes out. Chapter 1961. In 1 second, she remembered Love Divided by You. Read book, Webno pop-up window, free to read. Fushi was listening to Lung Yin talk about how Sima Yue made Anaheim suffer that time. When he heard that she actually did that and scared a lot of people, he couldn't help but laugh. He couldn't tell that she actually had such a black-bellied side. "What are you laughing about?" Sima Yue walked in and asked when she saw Fushi rocking back and forth with laughter. "We're talking about your matter." Fushi said, "You actually injured that old witch, and she can only suffer that. Just thinking about it makes me happy. Your sense of substitution is really fast." Sima Yue couldn't help but laugh when she thought of what happened that time. "Why are you back so soon?" Huan asked. "Grandfather is in seclusion. I didn't disturb him." Sima Yue said, "Let's talk about it when he comes out. I'll check your body first." She had already understood his situation before and knew what his master had used on him. Now she needed to know more about his situation. "Are you going to deal with my matter first?" Fushi asked in surprise. Wasn't she so anxious before? He thought that she would deal with that matter as soon as she came back. He didn't expect her to be so considerate of others. "Let's take a look first. We'll talk about that matter when grandfather comes out of seclusion." Sima Yue brought Fushi into the house and then asked Shiyu and the others to go out and guard. She began to give Fushi a comprehensive examination. Fushi felt her spiritual power wandering around in his body. Although she was underworld power, she didn't feel cold. Instead, it was warm and comfortable. After a while, she retreated with a slight frown on her face. "How is it? Can I still be saved?" Fushi asked very carefully, afraid of hearing a negative answer. Second Master said that she was his last hope. If even she gave him a death sentence, then he really had no hope. "There's no way for the time being. But I feel that the power in your body is about to lose control. I'll think of a way to suppress it first, and then I'll think of a way to make it completely fuse with your body." Sima Yue said, "Fortunately, your master has given you a lot of good things over the years, which greatly strengthened your body and gave you a chance. How are you going to suppress it?" "Seal it for the time being," Sima Yue said. "This way you won't have to use the power of the dragon god for the time being. If you can't, then so be it. I'll be in the palace. You'll protect me." Fushi agreed without hesitation. Sima Yue smiled. "Yes, I will protect you. Yes. Then come. I don't want to worry every day." Although Fushi spoke with confidence, his twitching eyebrows revealed the fear in his heart. "I can't do it. Mou or Lingyu. You choose one," Sima Yue said. Fushi hesitated for a moment, but still chose Mou in the end. Although this old man still held a grudge against him for tricking him, he wouldn't settle the score with him over this. As for the other one, she was too possessive. If she wasn't happy that he was with her and couldn't control himself, what would he do? Sima Yue wasn't surprised by his choice and asked someone to call Mou over. When Mou found out about this, he agreed to help. If it wasn't for Fushi, the Seal of the North would be troublesome. Therefore, it was not a big deal to help. After much thought, the power in Fushi's body was finally sealed. Finally, Fushi felt relaxed and didn't have to be in fear every day. Don't be happy too early. This will only last for a few months. Even if only a small part of the power of the dragon god enters your body, it won't be easy to deal with. Mou poured cold water on him from head to toe. Also, if you still can't think of a way after a few months, you can go back and see your family for the last time. Fushi wasn't surprised by this news. He sat on the chair and swung his legs, saying calmly, "If I don't do this, I will die at any time. This way, I can at least live peacefully for a few months." Sima Yue saw the loneliness in his eyes, but didn't say anything to comfort him. At this time, other than finding a way to cure him, anything else would be useless. "I have an idea," Wu Lingyu, who had been silent all this time, said. "What idea?" Everyone looked over. "I remember that in your memory, there is electroshock therapy that can help people whose heart has stopped." Wu Lingyu said. "You're saying that I should use electroshock therapy?" Sima Yue asked. Since his second master asked him to find you who can release electricity, it might be because of this. However, this is just my guess. Wu Lingyu said. "Then what should we do? Use lightning to strike Fushi?" Lung Yin felt pain just thinking about it. Fushi thought that if the lightning struck him, he would probably be reduced to ashes in a single strike. He stared at Wu Lingyu, thinking that he did it on purpose. How could he use electricity to save people? He wanted to use this method to destroy himself. However, Sima Yue's eyes lit up and said excitedly, "Maybe it really can be done." "Yue, you're not really going to use lightning to strike me, are you?" Fushi looked at her pitifully, hoping that she was just saying it. Ling Yu is right. Electroshock therapy is indeed a good idea. Sima Yue gave him a reassuring idea. Electric current can revive a stopped heartbeat. It should also be able to stimulate the recovery of your stopped growth. We could try. You really want me to be struck by lightning? If I can't even take one, won't I die? Fushi looked at her in fear, hoping that she could think of another way. "Don't worry, it's not the kind of lightning that you think it is," Sima Yue said. "Then what should we do? You'll know when the time comes. I'm going to refine some pills for you now." After Sima Yue finished speaking, she went to her alchemy room and refined some healing and body protection pills for Fushi. After she left, Fushi glared at Wu Lingyu. His eyes were filled with undisguised accusation. Wu Lingyu ignored his gaze and left without even saying a word. On the other hand, Lung Yun and the others sympathized with Fushi. His body was sick, and he had to be struck by lightning by the little princess. How pitiful. Thus, during the few days that they were waiting for Sima Yue to come out, they were especially good to Fushi. They fulfilled all his requests and really treated him like a child. After a few days, Sima Yue came out. When Fushi saw her spirited eyes, he subconsciously shrank his neck. "Come on, let's start trying now." Sima Yue said, "Eat this first." Seeing that Sima Yue was serious, Fushi took the pill, gritted his teeth, and ate it as if he was going to die. Chapter 1962. In 1 second, she remembered, "Love divided by you." Read book, web no pop-up windows, free to read. Sima Yue laughed and pointed at him. "You don't have to be like this, right? It's not as painful as you think." Huh? Fushi blinked and suddenly felt that something was wrong with his body. He could not move his limbs. What's wrong with me?" Sima Yue shook her head and said, "You didn't even ask what the pill I gave you was." "Didn't I trust you?" Fushi said, "But what did you give me?" "It's an anesthetic. It can make you lose consciousness temporarily and reduce a lot of pain during the electric shock." Sima Yue explained. "There's such a pill? Didn't you feel the effects?" Sima Yue asked Yang Hui to carry him to the bed. "Yue, if you do it here, you won't destroy the entire youthful palace, right? Won't you scare those people again? It's not what you think." Sima Yue moved a stool to the side of the bed and grabbed his hand, saying, "Although I've anesthetized your body, it might not be able to relieve your pain completely. So you have to bear with it for a while. After the anesthetic wears off, you might still feel pain." "I understand," Fushi replied. "Also, I'll use a small amount of electric current to test your tolerance. At the same time, Lingyu will observe your condition. If you have any problems, you have to tell me." Sima Yue reminded him. "Okay." Hearing her say this, Fushi knew that it was not the direct electric shock that he thought it would be. He was relieved and less afraid. Sima Yue took off his clothes. Wu Lingyu was on the other side, injecting spiritual energy into his body and observing his condition. "I'm starting," Sima Yue said as she condensed a trace of lightning element in her hands. Fushi saw the electric current flowing in her palms and swallowed his saliva. He watched as she flipped her palms and pressed her hands on her chest. The pain that he expected did not come. He did not even feel anything, so he did not know if there were any changes to his body after being electrocuted. The effect that your master gave you to strengthen your body is showing. Sima Yue said, "I'm going to increase the electric current." The electric current just now was based on the amount that a normal person could withstand. However, his body did not have any special reaction. This meant that this amount of electric current was nothing to him. She increased the flow and injected it into his body. Then, she controlled it to attack his internal organs, bones, and meridians. Ugh! Although the medicinal pill had numbed his nerves, Fushi still felt some pain. If it was not numbed, he would have fainted. Sima Yi released it once and rested for a while before coming again. She only stopped after hitting him 5 times. Wu Lingyu was connected to Fushi. Although he could release electric current now, Sima Yoyue's electric current still hurt him. "Lingyu, it's done. You can rest now," Sima Yue said when she saw that he did not look well. Wu Lingyu nodded. He retracted his spiritual energy and rested at the side. Sima Yue checked Fushi's body. She realized that the cells that had stopped growing had some reaction. Although they had not started to grow, it meant that this method was effective. She told Fushi the result. Fushi smiled. Indeed, she had a way. "When will we do it again?" He was eager to grow up. At least 5 days later. Sima Yue said, "That long? Can it be earlier?" "I'm fine. Why we have to wait so long?" "Don't be anxious. Don't be happy too early." Sima Yue said, "You don't feel anything now, but when the anesthetic wears off, you'll be in pain. 5 days is my conservative estimate." Fushi was worried. He thought that he would be fine after the anesthetic wore off. Sima Yue took out a pill and fed it to him, saying, "This is for healing, but don't expect it to stop the pain." "Oh," Fushi replied. Although she made it sound serious, he was still very happy. After so many years, his body was finally going to grow again. He was really looking forward to it. However, not long after, he could not smile anymore. The crushing pain in his body almost made him faint. Yue, why is it hurting so soon? Anesthetic is not good. Of course, the shorter the better. So I didn't take too long. Sima Yue said, this is your first time. You'll get used to it, and it'll be much better. Are you sure you won't feel more pain the more you do it? Fushi bit his lips. Sima Yue suddenly pried his lips open and stuffed a clean cloth in to prevent him from biting himself. That's how I went through it. She recalled the past and was full of emotions. I even controlled the electricity for you. The first time I did it, I was barely hanging on to my last breath. I got used to it slowly. You're amazing. It's not that I'm amazing. It's that I don't have a way out. It's not that I don't want to do it. Sima Yue said, luckily, I got Little Purple with the help of my contract beast. That's why I didn't turn into ashes during the lightning tribulation. But even now, I'll use a part of the electricity on my body every time I go through the tribulation. I use the lightning to refine my body. Fushi's eyes lit up. Could he do the same in the future? Sima Yue saw through his thoughts and smiled. I'm giving you these now to refine your body. At least in the future, your resistance to lightning will be much stronger than ordinary people. Thank you. Fushi shouted at the towel and couldn't speak clearly. Your body has stopped growing long ago. If it starts to grow again in the future, I'm afraid you'll feel pain. You have to understand this, so you don't have to panic if you encounter it in the future. Yes. As long as it can grow again, it's okay, even if it's painful. Fushi said, then rest well. When your body recovers, we'll do it again. Okay. The intense pain in his body made him want to do it again immediately. If he did it again, his life would probably be over. After Sima Yue helped him, she went around him to Wu Lingyu's side and held his hand to check. It's okay. You'll recover after taking some pills and resting. Let Fushi rest well. Let's go out first. Wu Lingyu left with her. Fushi looked at his back and snorted. This guy, other than being a little possessive, seemed to be pretty good. Well, he wouldn't hate him in the future. It really hurt. Thinking about how many times he would have to go through it in the future, he felt bitter. He suddenly wondered if his master and the others knew about it, so they didn't tell him anything. Chapter 1963. Everyone welcomes you. Please remember this site's address, so that you can read the latest chapters of Crazy Wife, 5th Miss Divine Doctor. Fushi laid on the bed for 2 days before the pain slowly subsided. However, Sima Yue did not immediately give him the next electric shock. After a few more days, when his body was completely healed, she gave him the second electric shock. After the second time, Mou came over and saw Wu Lingyu resting at the side, as well as Fushi with a pale face and Sima Yue who was packing her things. Yue. Sima Yue turned her head and looked at Mou. You're here. Twice, how is it? Mou asked. See for yourself. Sima Yue said. Mou raised his eyebrows and came to Fushi's side. He stretched out his hand to check him and said, not bad. It's starting to take effect in such a short time. I think it will start to grow again after a while. Indeed. Sima Yue nodded. Seeing Fushi's pale face, she said doubtfully, actually, Fushi's situation is troublesome, but it's also simple. As long as we seal the divine dragon's power and stimulate his body to grow again, it'll be fine. You're right. But if we can think of this, why can't his master and the others? That's impossible, right? Isn't their place even more powerful? How can I not think of this? Sima Yue said doubtfully. Master said. Fushi opened his eyes and said weakly, they can't touch the power of my body. Only people with the power of divine beasts can do it. For divine beasts? That's right. Fushi said, you have divine beasts, right? That's why you can move the power to a place and let Mou seal it for me. I see. Then you didn't look for his divine beasts? I don't know what happened that year. 4 divine beasts. The divine dragon died and injected all its power into the divine dragon order. The other 3 divine beasts were scattered all over the world. Thousands of worlds, 3 divine beasts. It's not easy to find them. Fushi explained. You're saying that the battle happened in your world? Sima Yue asked. Yeah, Fushi said, Master said that after those divine beasts went through the battle, they were injured and went into hibernation. If they didn't come out on their own, no one would be able to find them. It turns out that your master knew that only those with 3 divine beasts could help you in your situation. Then your second master is really a fraud. Why? Although my second master is usually a charlatan, there are many things that he can calculate accurately. Fushi said, "You see, since he knows that only 3 mythological beasts can save you, that means you've been looking for the whereabouts of the mythological beasts. It just so happens that our old principal went there and became friends with your second master. Then, wouldn't he know that I have a divine beast?" Sima Yue analyzed. "But master doesn't know that you've come to the ghost realm. Moreover, does your old principal know that you have a divine beast?" "That's true." Sima Yue nodded. "But I heard that meeting-related people would be the medium for the divination. Perhaps the old principal is that medium." "That's very possible." Fushi agreed with this point of view. "I heard second master mention this before. I don't know where the 2 divine beasts are." Sima Yue touched her chin. "I'm a little curious about the other 2 divine beasts now. I think they shouldn't be here with us." Wu Lingyu said, "Everyone knows that you have divine beasts. If they're here and know this news, they should come looking for you." "That's true. Looks like we won't have the chance to meet them." Sima Yue said with some regret. "That's not necessarily true. You could just come with me to our place." Fushi said, "My master said that the 4 divine beasts will go back in the future. Then, you'll be able to meet them." "They'll go back." Sima Yue shook her head. "Crimson Flame didn't say that." "Crimson Flame? Your contracted beast, Crimson Flame? The divine bird, Vermilion Bird?" Fushi was so excited that he wanted to get up, but the pain in his body made him grimace. Sima Yue nodded. Seeing his shining eyes, she rejected him directly. "You won't be able to see him. I almost died last time. Although I was saved in the end, my contracted beasts were all seriously injured. Crimson Flame is now in closed-door cultivation. I can't interrupt him. Moreover, if someone came and said that they wanted to see him, then he would only be able to live a peaceful life." Fushi was very disappointed. Then, he became excited again. "What about the flame? I heard that Crimson Flame's flame is very powerful. Can you let me see this?" This request was very easy to satisfy. She opened her hand, and the vermilion bird jumped in her palm. Fushi's eyes widened. He wanted to reach out and touch it, but Sima Yue dodged and scolded him. "Don't you want your hand?" "Hee, I was too excited and forgot." Fushi retracted his hand and collapsed on the bed. "I really didn't expect that I would be able to see the Nirvana flame. TSK, those fellows are always bragging about how powerful their flames are. Let's see if they can still show off when they see you next time. Let's talk about it later. You should recuperate first." Sima Yue said, "Really, you're obviously injured to the point where you can't move, but you still dare to touch me. If your body recovers and you lose an arm because of this, how am I going to explain it to you?" I'm too excited. Fushi thought about his actions just now and felt a little scared. Fortunately, Sima Yue was alert and immediately moved it away. "Okay, you should rest." Sima Yue and Wu Lingyu left, leaving him alone to continue being excited. Sima Yue returned to her palace. She was thinking about Crimson Flame's matter and did not speak. She wanted to ask Crimson Flame if he really wanted to go there in the future, but he was not willing to tell her before. If she asked now, he might not tell her. Thinking about some of his previous reactions, his sometimes blurred eyes, he probably wanted to go back for revenge. If he really wanted to go back for revenge, she would accompany him. No matter who their opponent was, she would accompany him all the way. Don't worry, Crimson Flame is not a reckless person. If he wants to make a decision, he will definitely say that he has thought it through carefully. Wu Lingyu comforted. Yes. Sima Yue nodded. But with his personality, he doesn't want to say anything. That year, the 4 mythical beasts were defeated by the other party. I don't know who the opponent is, and I don't know if they're still there. Mou said, "Before you understand these things clearly, you and Crimson Flame should not act rashly. Crimson Flame won't." At this time, Xiu came in from outside and bowed. "Little princess, 99th princess is here." Chapter 1964. Everyone welcomes your presence. Please remember the address of this website to read the latest chapters of Crazy Wife, Miracle Dr. Fifth Miss, at any time. Sima Yue looked at Shiyu. Who is this Princess 99? How many princesses are there? Princess 99 is the daughter of Xing Wang. She's the cousin of the little princess and is also a princess personally conferred by the king. Shiyu explained, Princess 99 used to be around the same age as the little princess and had a good relationship. After that, she followed Wang Ye to the dynasty and rarely came back. Then why is she looking for me? Sima Yue asked. She should know that you're back, so she's here to see you. Shiyu said, Princess, do you want to see her? Since I'm already at Yuhua Palace, let's see her. Sima Yue waved her hands, and Shiyu immediately invited her in. Princess 99, please. Sima Yue heard Shiyu's voice and looked up. She saw a woman with an enchanting figure in a lean red dress coming in from outside. Auntie? Yuan saw Sima Yue and was stunned. Yue greets Princess 99. Sima Yue bowed slightly and stood properly. Yuan recovered herself and smiled. They all say that you're very similar to your mother. I thought I saw her again just now. Indeed, both of you look alike. Princess 99, we're all from the same generation. You could just call me Cousin Yuan, Yuan said. Yes, Cousin Yuan. Sima Yue readily agreed. She didn't like to be called with such a long name either. Father, and I knew that you were back long ago. However, as we were preparing for the dynasty competition, we didn't come back in advance. I thought that I could see you during the dynasty competition, but I didn't expect you to not be in the palace. After hearing the news, I ran over to take a look. Cousin Yuan, thank you for your concern, Sima Yue said politely. Back then, Auntie and I agreed that we would get married and have children together. I didn't expect you to be so big in the blink of an eye, Yuan said with a sigh. Sima Yue did not know what to say. She just smiled. She was just his cousin, right? Why was she acting like an elder? Yuan didn't notice this. Instead, she asked her a lot of questions. Whatever she asked, Sima Yue would answer. I heard that you want to save little Auntie? Yuan asked. Sima Yue was confused. How did she know about this? You don't have to be so surprised. My relationship with Deja is still all right, Yuan explained. Sima Yue understood. How did this go over? The relationship between the two of them was definitely different. That was why he told her such a secretive thing. It was rare for him to have a good relationship with someone. Actually, we weren't that close in the past, Yuan explained. In the past, both of us didn't see eye to eye with each other. It was only after Little Ant's incident that we could sit down and talk properly. However, what we're talking about is the intelligence we've gathered over the years. So that was the case. Both of them had a good relationship with their mother. Hence, when something happened to their mother, both of them could sit down and discuss how to save their mother. They were considered to be on the same side. Yes, I want to save my mother, Sima Yue admitted. Is the 100 Ghost Gonfalon still with you? Yuan asked. You know about the 100 Ghost Gonfalon too? She even knew that the 100 Ghost Gonfalon was with her. Of course, I know about the 100 Ghost Gonfalon. I even secretly gave it to Deja. I initially wanted him to go to the Immortal Land to collect the ancient war souls. However, he came back and told me that he lost it. After I asked him again and again, he told me about your existence. Yuan gritted her teeth as she talked about this. She was unhappy that Deja hid the whereabouts of the 100 Ghost Gonfalon. The 100 Ghost Gonfalon is with me now. Since she knew about it from Deja, Yue didn't hide it from her. Then give it to me for a period of time, Yuan said. Lin said before that this is to be used to save Mother in the future. If Cousin Yuan wants to take it back, Yue can't agree to it. Sima Yue rejected her. Regardless of what Yuan wanted to do with it, she wouldn't agree to it. If anything happened, she couldn't take this risk. You're thinking the wrong way. I'm not going to do anything with it. Yuan said, I found another ancient battlefield some time ago. This time, I confirmed that there are still war souls inside. Hence, I want to use the 100 Ghost Gonfalon to capture them. There are more spirits inside. When the time comes to save Annie, we'll be more confident. Cousin Yuan, Sima Yue didn't expect her to actually want to do this. Although that place hasn't been discovered yet, the people from the Soul Clan have been searching for these ancient war souls. If they discover it, it'll be troublesome. Hence, we have to race against time. It's best if we can rush over now, Yuan said. Yuan. Dija's exasperated voice could be heard from outside. Both of them looked over and saw Dija walking in with a black face. Why are you so fierce? Are you trying to scare me to death? Dija was very scary when his face was black. However, Yuan wasn't afraid of him and glared back. I've said before that this matter can't be told to Yue. You ran into the palace in the blink of an eye. Are you ignoring my words? Dija shouted. If we wait for you to come and ask for the 100 ghost Gonfalon, how much time would that take? Yuan said. If we tell Yue directly, then Yue will know what we're going to do with the 100 ghost Gonfalon and give it to us. Dija gave her a look that said, You're an idiot. Then he sat on the other side of Sima Yue and didn't say anything. Cousin, what excuse are you using to take the 100 ghost Gonfalon away from me? Sima Yue asked. Dija was unhappy. Yuan didn't understand him at all. Speaking of which, she wouldn't give the 100 ghost Gonfalon to Yuan because they were meeting for the first time. However, if Dija came to find her, she might give it to him. Where's that ancient battlefield? Sima Yue asked Yuan. In a small realm. Yuan said, that small realm is attached to the ghost realm. That's why we found it by accident. Where's that small realm? Yuan paused and looked at her. Why are you asking so clearly? Are you going there? Since we know, we definitely can't let those ancient souls off, Sima Yue said. Well, just leave this matter to us. That small realm isn't easy to go to, Yuan said. That place is very dangerous, right? Sima Yue didn't look at her. Instead, she looked at Dija. So you're planning to take the 100 ghost Gonfalon behind my back to collect the souls, right? Yes. Now, there was no way to hide it from her. Cousin, you're already very busy usually. The matters at the Soul Society have already left you in a terrible fix. Let me handle this matter myself, Sima Yue said. She wasn't familiar with Yuan. Although she knew that she was a good person, she couldn't take the risk. Hence, the best way was for her to collect those ancient souls personally. Chapter 1965. Yuan finally understood why Dija chose not to tell her the truth. Yue, let me tell you the truth. That place is very dangerous. It's better that you don't go. Although you have very strong guards, it's better to be safe than sorry, Yuan said. If something happened and the guards couldn't protect her, what should she do? Cousin Yuan, Cousin didn't want you to tell me because he knows that he can't stop me after I find out about this. So, you don't have to say so much. Tell me about that small realm. I'll go there and return quickly, Sima Yue said. Yuan looked at Dija and saw that his face was scarily dark. She knew that she might have really done something wrong this time. I'll go with you. That place isn't easy to find. Yuan said to Sima Yue, I was planning to go too, but let her go with you. Although she's not a good person, she's still useful sometimes, Dija said. Yuan rolled her eyes at him. Even if he wanted to praise her, he didn't say it properly. Sima Yue hesitated for a while, then nodded. Then, I'll have to trouble you. Do you need to prepare anything? When can you set off? Yuan asked. I'll go and settle some things. Wait for me for a while. After saying that, Sima Yue went to the side palace and found Mo and the rest. She told them that she was leaving the palace. We don't have any problems. However, is Fushi going too? The Black Shadow asked. Fushi. Sima Yue looked at the child who was staring at her with his eyes wide open. She said to Mo, Fushi, can you follow Mo for a while? When I'm back, I'll bring you back. Fushi wasn't from the ghost world and had the Dragon God order. If the Ghost King wasn't in seclusion, he could still be safe. However, now that there was an Anaheim eyeing him covetously, he couldn't stay in the palace. However, it was even more unrealistic for her to bring him to the ancient battlefield. Not to mention where he went, she had to take care of him. He had just undergone electroshock treatment, and it wasn't suitable for him to travel long distances. Fushi also understood that he was now a burden to her, so he agreed to her arrangement. However, will this affect his recovery? Mou asked. I originally planned to observe for a period of time after the second treatment, before proceeding with the subsequent treatment. The growth of the body was a continuous process, and there wouldn't be any obvious changes in a short period of time. I'll be back in 2 months. Sima Yue said. Fushi's body only had half a year left. She didn't have that much time to waste. However, she was still a little worried. She was afraid that if something happened, then Fushi would. Wu Lingyu walked over and held her hand, saying, Actually, you can put him in my little realm. If anything happens, we'll know immediately. Can I? Sima Yue looked at Wu Lingyu happily. If he agreed, then this problem would be solved easily. Although I don't really like Little Ghost, since you want to cure him, I can only support you. Wu Lingyu said. Thank you, Lingyu. Sima Yue smiled at him gratefully and said, Fushi, you can go to Lingyu's little realm. This way, there won't be any delays. Okay. After that, Wu Lingyu opened the little realm and brought Fushi in. Sima Yue then brought them to find Yuan and set off with her. Yuan didn't bring many people. There were only 20 people in total. However, she said that these people had their own abilities and could fight against 100 people. Using Yuan's method, they only took a few days to reach the entrance of the little realm. They found this little realm by accident. I asked them to go out and check the ancient battlefield, but I didn't expect them to find it here. Yuan explained to them. After I received the news, I went inside to check. There were indeed ancient souls. However, the people guarding inside said that this little realm was connected to the Soul Society, so they seemed to have people coming in too. However, the people from both sides didn't meet each other directly. The people from the Soul Clan have a strong desire for souls. If they know that there are ancient souls here, I'm afraid they will come and snatch them. Mou, who asked to come along because he was bored, said, Indeed, that's why we want to get the 100 Ghost banner as soon as possible to keep those ancient souls, Yuan said. She used the barrier-breaking stone to open the little realm. Once she entered, she saw some aristocrats. When those people saw her, they immediately went forward and bowed. Princess, how's the situation in the little realm? Yuan asked. Seeing that they were injured, she frowned. What happened? Princess, the people from the Soul Clan have indeed arrived. The guard lowered his head and said, And they have already entered the ancient battlefield. What did you say? Aren't you guarding here? The people from the Ghost Realm are Yin Jin. Yin Jin is actually here? Yuan's heart sank. Seeing that they were all in low spirits, she said, Forget it. It's already not easy for you to stay alive after encountering them. Who is this Yin Jin? Sima Yue asked. He's the second in charge of the main sect. Mou said, This person's sound attack is superb. Even a leaf can be turned into a killing weapon in his hands. If even you say so, it seems like this person is not simple. The second in charge of the main sect. I wonder if he knows about what happened in Immortal Sorcerer City. Sima Yue felt that she was a little clashing with the main sect. Whether he knows or not, he's not someone to be trifled with. You have to be careful, Yuan once said. Actually, according to her thoughts, when she knew that Yin Jin was here, she wanted Sima Yue to go back. However, after thinking about what Deja said to her, she decided to forget it. Even if she said it, Sima Yue would probably ignore it. How many people did they bring? How long have they been in there? Sima Yue asked. Not many, just 3 people. However, all 3 of them are very powerful. They have been in there for almost half a day. Then we can still catch up with them if we go in. Sima Yue said, Cousin Wan, since the other party is using sound attacks, don't bring your people in. Sound attacks were very lethal against group attacks. It was useless for those people to go in. They would just be sacrificing themselves in vain. Yuan understood as well. Hence, after thinking for a while, she agreed. Indeed, sound attacks were different from other attacks. Even if they wanted to go in, they could not be meat shields. In the end, she only chose 4 people to go in with her. Sima Yue and the rest went in. The 4 guards led the way in front, while the rest followed behind. Once they entered the ancient battlefield, They felt waves of cold air floating around. Some of them even had spiritual intelligence. When they saw them, they took the initiative to attack them. However, they were purified by Sima Yu's fire. Chapter 1966. The ancient battlefield here couldn't be compared to the one in the immortal land. However, there were still many dangers. Behind the aura with spiritual intelligence, there were broken spaces. If they weren't careful, they would be torn apart by these broken spaces. Be careful, Sima Yue shouted. At the same time, she turned her spiritual power into a rope and tied Yuan and the 4 people in front of her. She pulled them back forcefully. The clothes of the guard in front floated up and suddenly broke from the middle. Everyone watched as the corner of the clothes was torn into pieces and disappeared. Yuan had never been so deep into this ancient battlefield before. Thus, she didn't know the situation here. There were a few times when she almost fell into the broken spaces. This time, US saved her again. Thank you, Yue. If not for you, I'm afraid I wouldn't be able to get out. Yuan said gratefully. You're welcome. You did it for my mother. Sima Yue said. However, we've just entered the ancient battlefield, and there are so many broken spaces. The closer we get to the center, the more there will be. Although it's dangerous, there are also benefits. Wu Lingyu said, this way, Yin Jin and the rest won't be able to walk fast. Indeed, Sima Yue agreed with him and said to Yuan, Cousin Wan, I'm afraid the road ahead will be more dangerous. You guys aren't familiar with the space. Why don't you go back the same way first? According to the route we took just now, it's safe to go back. She didn't say it clearly, but everyone understood what she meant. They weren't sensitive to space, and it was easy for what happened just now to happen. If such a situation happened again, firstly, they would be in more danger. Secondly, they would be a burden and affect the entire express delivery. If Yin Jin and the rest didn't walk fast, they would want to chase after them quickly. It was indeed inconvenient to bring the 5 of them along. Although Yuan was worried about her safety, she understood that she wouldn't be of much help if she stayed. Thus, she agreed. All right, we won't be a burden to you. Yin Jin isn't easy to deal with. You guys have to be careful. We will. Remember to take the long way back. Sima Yu liked this cousin of hers more now, although she always looked at her like an elder. All right, Yuan led them back to where they came from, and Sima Yue and the rest continued to move forward. Since they didn't know which direction Yin Jin and the others had gone and where they were now, they had to speed up. With 5 less people, their team's range had shrunk quite a bit. In this place full of spatial faults, it was much more convenient. Every time they encountered a fault, they could quickly react and avoid it. At the same time, a few hundred miles away from them, Yin Jin was leading 2 people towards the center. Yin Qi, we have been walking for so many days, and we haven't even seen a shadow. Are you sure there are ancient war souls here? Xiahun questioned. If you don't believe me, you don't have to follow me. Yin Jin said indifferently, not putting the evil soul in his eyes at all. Yin Qi, what kind of attitude is this? We're working for the general this time. If you mess it up, the general won't forgive you. Evil soul shouted. Yin Jin didn't even want to look at him. You're Kuhi's subordinate commander. I'm not. If something happens, Rook won't blame me. Aren't you an array master yourself? Then you can walk on your own. You don't have to follow us. If I can walk on my own, why would I need you guys? Evil Soul looked at Bandit E, who was beside Yin Jin. Everyone in the Soul Society knew that this person was very skilled in arrays. His understanding of space had already reached the acme of perfection. Along the way, he had already discovered many broken spaces and spatial faults, which had saved his life a few times. If he didn't follow him, he wouldn't be able to walk 2 miles with his level. It was hateful that such a talent only listened to Yin Jin and wasn't willing to be used by the general. If not, why would he need to bring Yin Jin here? Thinking about Yin Jin's arrogant look, he was furious. One day, he would ruthlessly step on him under his feet. Someone's coming. Bandit E, who had been silent, suddenly spoke. Evil Soul sensed for a while. There was no one around. He said in disbelief, I didn't sense anyone nearby. How do you know? There's a fluctuation in space, Bandit, he said. All right, if this guy said so, then it should be the case. To be able to walk into your sensing range, it seems like the other party has a powerful array master, Yin Jin said. I wonder who it is. Could it be Deja and Yuan Wan? If it's them, we can use these spatial faults to settle them here. If the ghost world doesn't have Deja, its strength will be greatly reduced, Evil Soul said excitedly. The people they met outside previously were Yuan Wan's people. He wanted to settle them, but Yin Jin said to quickly come in to collect the ancient souls and not to waste time there. Thus, he gave up. If it was Deja and Yuan Wan who came this time, he would definitely not let go of this opportunity. Yin Jin looked at Bandit. Bandit, he shook his head. He could only sense that someone was coming. As to who it was, he couldn't sense it. However, as Yin Jin said, to be able to chase here so quickly, there must be a powerful array master among them. He wanted to meet this array master. Let's just wait here, Evil Soul said. No, let's continue to walk forward. Yin Jin rejected his suggestion. I know you want to kill Deja, but the person who came might not be Deja. Let's go and collect the ancient souls first. Since they came here, their target must be the ancient souls. When we reach the center of the ancient battlefield and collect the ancient souls, they will be here too. You're right. Then let's go to the center and wait for them. Evil Soul agreed, and the three of them continued to walk forward. Bandit, he was more serious than before. He avoided many dangers in advance and sped up their speed. At this moment, Sima Yue also sensed their presence. Yin Jin and the rest are in front. They should have noticed us and sped up, she said. They should have brought Bandit, Mo said. Who is Bandit? He's the best array master in the Soul Society. He doesn't belong to any forces and is Yin Jin's friend. He only listens to Yin Jin. Qing Hun's words are useless to him. Qing Hun allowed such a person to exist. Sima Yue was a little surprised. A person who didn't belong to any forces. As a ruler, he wouldn't want to miss such a talent. However, Qing Hun allowed him to have such a good relationship with the second in charge of the main sect. It said that he sent people to capture him, but they were all wiped out. Mou explained the reason in one sentence. Among all the professional masters, array masters were the most powerful. One array could kill many people. It could attack and defend. Its combat power was extraordinary. It seemed that Bandit E was indeed powerful. Chapter 1967. In 1 second, she remembered, Love Divided by You. Read, book, webno pop-up window, free to read. No matter how powerful that Bandit one is, he can't stop me from finding the ancient war soul. Sima Yue said, they increased their speed. I think they want to catch the ancient war soul in front of us. They might even want to dig a hole for us. Then we have to increase our speed. If we let them catch the ancient war soul, we would have wasted our time. Black Shadow said, we really have to increase our speed. Sima Yue said, but we won't take this route. Not here. Then where should we go? Let's go one round. In this small space, she and Bandit 1 could feel each other's presence. If they chased after them, they would only give Bandit 1 a chance to kill them. Why not go one round? Although it would take some time, it would be safer and Bandit 1 wouldn't be able to judge their speed based on their position. Thus, they changed their route and went in a different direction. They're gone, Bandit 1 said. So, we've already shaken them off? Evil Spirit said. We've shaken them off so quickly. Seems like their array master isn't as good as you, Bandit 1. Bandit 1 ignored his flattery and said to Yin Jin, there's another possibility they didn't take this route. How is that possible? They definitely know that we came in. They know that we're in front of them. If they didn't take this route, how could they catch up with us? Evil Spirit said disapprovingly. Their route was the shortest route. If they didn't take this route, they would have to take a long detour for the current situation. It was indeed impossible. Let's not care about them. Let's go and catch the ancient war soul. Yin Jin said, as long as they could catch the ancient war soul, their mission would be completed. No matter if the other party took this route, once they got the ancient war soul, it would be useless for them to play any tricks. They continued to move forward. The closer they got to the center of the battlefield, the more unstable the space was, they had no choice but to slow down. They walked cautiously for a few days. According to our previous calculations, we'll reach the center of the battlefield in half a day. When we reach there, we'll meet the ancient war soul. Bandit 1 said. Then let's hurry. The evil soul was excited at the thought of being able to find the ancient war soul. Yen Jin glanced at him. He didn't know why Kahi would choose such a person as his commander. He had seen a few of the 10 great commanders before, and all of them were outstanding talents. How could this person be this kind of trash? It can't be fast. Bandit, he said, the space here is very unstable. Once it collapses, we might not even be able to preserve this little realm. If this little realm is destroyed, then those war spirits will also disappear. All right, the evil soul didn't say anything. In any case, if they weren't fast enough, the people behind them wouldn't be able to get ahead either. Half a day later, they arrived at the center of the ancient battlefield. As soon as they entered the area, they saw a few ancient fighting souls floating around. Gu Zhanhuan was similar to the people from the Soul Society. They were both souls that had died. However, because they had stayed in this small space for too long, their consciousness had been erased by time, and they could only float around in a daze. If they could control them now and turn them into slaves, they wouldn't resist them when they regained their consciousness. Yen Jin, we agreed before that we would split the ancient fighting souls here equally. The general is still waiting for me to bring the ancient fighting souls back to report, so I'll keep these 2 first. The evil soul said. Up to you. Yen Jin was too lazy to argue with such people. It was just 2 ancient fighting souls. The evil soul gave an affirmative reply. He took out a spirit stone and wanted to keep the 2 ancient fighting souls. The spirit stone had a nourishing effect on the soul. When a normal soul encountered the spirit stone, it would subconsciously enter it. However, the 2 ancient fighting souls glanced at the spirit stone and didn't have any intention of entering it. They are actually unwilling to enter the spirit stone. The evil soul was surprised. The spirit stone was very attractive to these souls without consciousness, but these 2 actually resisted the temptation. No, it should be said that this temptation was not enough to enter their eyes. Yen Jin and Bandit E were also surprised. They were indeed ancient fighting souls. Even after so many years, even if their consciousness had been erased and they were muddle-headed, they were still so powerful. Yen Jin was finally interested in these ancient fighting souls and felt that they were worthy of being his subordinates. I don't believe that you will really resist. The evil soul said as he used his spiritual power to lift the spirit stone above them. Then, he condensed his spiritual power and wanted to trap them inside. However, the 2 ancient fighting souls remained in their original positions. Although his dark skill made them feel uncomfortable, they said that they were unwilling to enter the spirit stone. In fact, they didn't know how long they had been floating here and didn't know why they were floating here. However, they were unwilling to enter the black stone. Their instincts told them that they couldn't enter that thing. Once they entered, something dangerous would happen. The evil soul increased his spiritual power. The 2 ancient fighting souls frowned and impatiently waved their palms at him. The evil soul was immediately flung away and almost fell into a spatial fault. It was Yen Qi who gave him a hand at the last moment that saved him. These ancient fighting souls are so strong. The evil soul touched his chest and was excited after the initial fear. Such strong ancient fighting souls. As long as he could obtain them, his strength would surpass the others. They are not easy to deal with. Bandit E said to Yen Jin. Indeed, it is not suitable for a frontal attack. Yen Jin said as he took out a jade flute and blew it gently. The ancient fighting soul's eyes were clear at the start. However, as the flute played, his eyes slowly became blurred and finally became very sad. His body emitted an aura of despair. He looked up at the spirit stone and flew into the spirit stone. Yen Jin put down the jade flute, and the evil soul regained his senses from a sound attack. He immediately flew over and kept the spirit stone. Thank you so much for this. He nodded at Yen Jin. His words of gratitude didn't have much sincerity. Jean snorted at his actions. His slender fingers held the jade flute and said faintly, "Commander, you have seen these ancient fighting souls. I am afraid that with your strength, you will not be able to subdue them." The evil soul immediately held the spirit stone tightly and looked at him cautiously. "What are you trying to say?" "We agreed that these two are mine. I have no intention of snatching them from you," Jean said. "Then what do you mean?" "I mean, you need my help in the future. Can you help me?" Jean caressed the jade flute and didn't look at him. "What do you want me to help you with?" The evil soul knew that he didn't want to snatch the ancient fighting souls and heaved a sigh of relief. Jean smiled and said, "Actually, it's nothing big. I just heard that you have seen the Western God Seal in Qing Hun's hands. I want to ask you what it looks like." Chapter 1968. In 1 second, she remembered Love Divided by You. Read book, web quick update, no pop-up window, free to read. Xia took 2 steps back in shock and looked at Jean in horror. "You want the Supreme Master's seal. Are you looking for death?" Jean laughed. "Why are you so nervous? I was just asking about the appearance of that thing. How is that considered taking it? Who dares to go against the Supreme Master now?" "That's true. Although you're powerful, you don't dare to go against the Supreme Master," Xia replied. "But you shouldn't ask about the 4 cardinal deities seal. If the Supreme Master misunderstands, not only you, but the entire main sect will be wiped out." Jin's fingertips rubbed back and forth on the whole of the jade flute. Hearing his words, he wasn't disappointed. He looked ahead and said, "Let's continue forward." Xia saw that he didn't ask anymore, so he walked over and continued forward with them. It was best that no one asked about the Supreme Master Clear Soul. If they were careless, they would lose their heads. This Jean actually dared to take the Supreme Master's things. He wouldn't even know how he died. However, what happened to him had nothing to do with him, as long as he could help him get the ancient battle souls this time. Bandit 1 looked at Jean worriedly, but Jean gave him a look, indicating that it was fine. Since he dared to mention it now, he wasn't afraid of Xia. They continued to walk in the central area and met a few more ancient battle souls along the way. It was Jean who helped Xia subdue them every time. Xia didn't seem to remember the previous agreement and took all the ancient battle souls for himself. Jean and Bandit 1 just watched without saying anything. They felt that it was too ugly for a commander to do this. "There's a lot of people ahead," Bandit 1 said. "Then let's go over quickly." Xia was in a good mood after obtaining so many ancient battle souls, so he quickly walked forward. Jean and Bandit 1 followed behind. "Why are you giving in to him? I heard that he only became one of the top 10 commanders because of his connections. He doesn't have much strength. Why do you have to give him face?" Bandit 1 couldn't stand it anymore. Being with such a person was lowering his status. "Don't worry, you won't be able to jump around for long," Jean said nonchalantly. "Don't tell me you want to know, although I don't care about his life or death. I still need him to do something for me." Jean said, "Bear with it. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have come here." "Bandit," he said, "I will try my best to ignore him, but the space here is very fragile. You have to be careful. Do not clash with those ancient battle spirits. They're so strong. If we were to clash head-on, it's very likely that the space would collapse." I know what I'm doing," Jean said. Bandit 1 knew that Jean was a steady person, so he didn't say much. He just followed him and reminded him of the dangers. What a strong, murderous aura! The evil soul, who was walking in the front, suddenly shuddered, but its tone was very excited. "It seems that we are close to the main battle area." The closer they were to the main battle zone, the more ancient war souls there were. Yankudo's eyes lit up. He didn't care if it was a small amount, but if it was a lot, he would still like it. Oh. Gusts of chilly wind blew from the front, and the black mass of people was blown away by the wind. The scene was a little creepy. So many ancient fighting souls. What kind of war happened here in the past? So many people actually died. Bandit 1 was stunned. Let's not care about what war they were left behind. Taking these ancient fighting souls is the right thing to do. The evil soul said to Yin Jin, "There are so many of them. Are you sure you can handle them?" Yin Jin didn't expect there to be so many of them. There were at least tens of thousands of them. If every one of them was so powerful, they would be comparable to an army. "I'll try." With so many people, he didn't dare to guarantee anything. He put the jade flute to his lips and started blowing. The flute sound made the ancient war souls' dazed eyes slowly focus. They looked over, as if they were looking at who was blowing the flute, or as if they were looking at their past memories. The flute's sound turned soft and sorrowful, causing their hearts to ache. They felt as if they had experienced something that made their hearts ache, but they couldn't remember anything. So sad, they wanted to remember the past, but they didn't even know who they were talking about. Now, they only wanted to follow the flute sound. No matter where they went, they didn't care who they were talking about. If they followed the sound, they wouldn't be sad anymore. The evil soul took out a pile of spirit stones. Bandit 1 also took out a pile. With a casual toss, the spirit stones flew into the air. The spirit stones formed a circle, trapping the ancient war souls in the middle. Yin Jin's flute sound continued to float over. Those ancient war souls had no intention of entering the spirit stones. After the song ended, he changed to another song. When Bandit 1 heard this song, he wanted to call out to him anxiously, but he held himself back. If he were to interrupt him now, those ancient war souls would wake up. Soon. The evil soul saw that most of the ancient war souls' eyes had become blurry. They were completely immersed in the flute sound. As long as he added more fuel to the fire, they would obediently enter the spirit stones. At this moment, a clear shout came from the opposite side. 100 Ghost Banner, keep! They raised their heads to look. They didn't know when a ghost banner appeared in the air. The strong suction force sucked in all the ancient war souls who had lost their resistance. In a moment, more than half of them were gone. "Who?" the evil soul exclaimed, and subconsciously attacked the 100 Ghost Banner. However, before he could get close to the 100 Ghost Banner, he was stopped by a black figure that suddenly appeared. "My young miss is collecting the souls. Unrelated people are not allowed to come near." The black figure slapped the evil soul away and said with his hands on his waist. Yin Jin stopped playing and looked at the 100 Ghost Banner behind the black figure. His pupils constricted. 100 Ghost Banner? What? Bandit 1 looked at the 100 Ghost Banner in disbelief. This was the long-lost 100 Ghost Banner? Don't bother about the 100 Ghost Banner. Hurry up and stop it. Otherwise, the ancient war souls will be snatched away by it. The evil soul shouted. Yin Jin's face was cold as he said, "When the 100 Ghost Banner is activated, only its owner can stop it. Find the person first, then ask for these." Bandit 1 closed his eyes and felt for a moment. Then he opened his eyes and attacked somewhere in the air. As the space here was too weak, he didn't use too much strength. However, he still let Sima Yue and the rest out of the space. MOU? When the evil soul saw MOU, his fighting spirit immediately decreased by 30%. Yin Jin's attention wasn't on MOU. He looked at Sima Yue. He didn't forget that the voice just now was talking about a woman. In other words, the 100 Ghost Banner belonged to this woman. "I didn't expect that the long-lost 100 Ghost Banner would appear again. And it's actually with you, the little princess of the Ghost Realm. It seems like you recognize me." Yin Jin stared at her smiling eyes. "How can I not recognize the person who destroyed my main sect?" Chapter 1969. The main sect had suffered a great loss in the immortal witchcraft city. Although most of their people had been captured by Dija, as the head of the main sect, they still knew about it. Sima Yue, the youngest granddaughter of the Ghost King, the little princess that he had personally conferred, had wiped out the main sect's forces in the immortal witchcraft city. They had imagined how they would torture her if they ever met her, but they did not expect to meet her so soon. Sect leader Yin Shi, you placed the main sect in the Ghost Realm. Of course, you were prepared to be discovered, right? Sima Yue was not afraid of him. She smiled. "Even without me, someone else would have discovered this. It was only a matter of time before they were wiped out. So, you're saying that I shouldn't blame you for destroying my forces? That I brought this upon myself? Yin Qi was amused. Sima Yue replied, "You're really good at understanding." The evil soul got up and ran back. When he saw that Yin Qi had not made a move and was still talking to Sima Yue, he shouted anxiously, "Yin Qi, look at the situation now. You're still in a mood to chat with her. If you don't stop her, the ancient war soul will be taken away by her alone." "Can you beat her?" Yin Qi asked. "I can't, but you can. If you don't go now and the general blames you, let's see what you'll do. Commander Evil, if you can't beat her, you can do it yourself. If you can't beat her, don't point your finger here." Bandit 1 had been holding it in for a long time. When he felt that he could no longer hold it in, there was no need to hold it in anymore. "Commander? General?" Sima Yue heard them. "So, you one of the 10 commanders under Chehi?" "That's right. If you know what's good for you, stop the 100 Ghost banner and hand it over." The evil soul lifted his chin arrogantly like a peacock. Sima Yue asked Mou, "Didn't you say that the generals under Che, he were all-powerful and powerful? How can there be such a person? Wasn't Che, he destroying his own Great Wall by making him a commander at such a level?" Mou was also puzzled. This doesn't seem like Che-He's style. Could it be his connections? He had to admit that his guess was quite accurate. However, other than those with connections, those without ability would not be able to become commanders. Really, there are people with connections everywhere, Sima Yue sighed. However, even if there are people with connections, there are still people with connections. It's fine if you didn't see it, but since you did, you're out of luck today. What do you want? The evil soul sensed the murderous intent in her eyes and moved closer to Yanjin. He didn't care about this little girl, but Mou was with her. If he made a move, he definitely wouldn't be able to take 2 moves. He could only rely on Yin Qi now. "I'm not thinking about anything. I'm just thinking that if I can make the 10 commanders of me, he become my little ghosts, it would feel pretty good." "How dare you?" The evil soul shrieked. "Don't think that you can take me in just because you have the 100 Ghost banner. You can't take me in. If you didn't mention it, I would have forgotten about it. It seems like we don't have to kill you. You're a spirit to begin with. We can just absorb you directly." Sima Yue waved her hand, and the 100 Ghost banner returned to her hand. She shook the 100 Ghost banner, and the evil soul were almost scared away. Even Yanjin and Bandit 1 looked at her warily, or rather, at the 100 Ghost banner in her hand. The 100 Ghost banner could be said to be the nemesis of the Soul Clan. In the past, when the 100 Ghost banner was in the hands of the Ghost Clan's royal family, the Ghost Realm had always suppressed the Soul Realm. Later, the 100 Ghost banner disappeared and the Soul Realm rose to prominence. Although with Sima Yue's strength, using the 100 Ghost banner wouldn't suck them in, it would still restrain them and greatly reduce their fighting strength. If Mou used the 100 Ghost banner, they might not be able to escape. Therefore, they should be glad that the 100 Ghost banner belonged to Sima Yue. "Yanjin, this 100 Ghost banner will also hurt you and Bandit 1. Why aren't you going to snatch it? Even if it's not for me, you have to think for yourselves." The evil soul said to Yanjin. Yanjin clenched the jade flute in his hand. It looked like he was about to make a move. Huan's figure flashed and appeared in front of Sima Yue, looking at Yanjin. The meaning was obvious. Your opponent is me. The two of them soon started fighting. Bandit 1 was worried about Yanjin and wanted to help, but was stopped by Wu Lingyu. Space lock. Bandit 1 wanted to lock Wu Lingyu, but found that the space he locked was empty. Wu Lingyu was no longer there. What a fast reaction. Bandit 1 knew the strength of his move. The lock would be very sudden. But Wu Lingyu was able to dodge it easily, which meant that he had already reacted when the space changed. It looked like he was the one who was on par with him, the one who led the way for them. Wu Lingyu appeared in the air, which gave Bandit 1 a big blow. His position was just outside the range of his lock. Wasn't he telling him that he knew his move like the back of his hand? It looked like this person was not only strong, but also good at dealing blows to others. You are indeed a strong opponent. Bandit 1 put away his impatience and fought with Wu Lingyu. Sima Yue held the 100 Ghost streamer, and the ancient war souls were still being sucked in. She looked down at the evil soul and said, "Now you're the only one left. Don't think that you can do anything to me now. You can't suck me in." The evil soul encouraged himself. This 100 Ghost streamer belonged to Sima Yue, and with her strength, there was no way she could suck him in. So he didn't have to be afraid of this at all. "I can't now, but what if you have lost the ability to resist?" Sima Yue smiled evilly. "Black Shadow, leave him with one last breath." "Okay." Black Shadow received the order and flew towards the evil soul. Although the evil soul relied on connections to become a commander, he still had some strength. So when he saw Black Shadow coming over, he still condensed his spirit energy to meet him. Sima Yue didn't make a move and stood in the middle of the ancient battlefield with Mou, watching the ancient war souls being sucked into the 100 Ghost streamer. It's all thanks to Yin Jin's sound attack that made them lose their consciousness and resist. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been easy to get them to come in so obediently. Sima Yue sighed. Choosing to come out at this time, she really got lucky. Yin Jin didn't expect you to get lucky. Mou said he should have guessed that there would be people coming, but he didn't expect them to have the 100 Ghost streamer, because without it, the ancient war souls that he controlled would become his fighting strength. Who would have thought that the 100 Ghost banner would devour everyone? He sympathized with Yin Jin in his heart. If he encountered such a situation, he would probably vomit blood. When Sima Yue was almost done with the ancient war souls and felt that the battle was about to end, the space suddenly trembled. Remember the mobile version of the website. Chapter 1970. What's going on? Black Shadow came back with the evil soul that was almost beaten to death. The trembling space made his heart palpitate. It should be the power of your battle that caused this space to collapse. Sima Yue looked worriedly at the 4 people fighting in the distance. It's going to collapse so easily? Black Shadow frowned. In this situation, the power of the space collapsing was very strong. If they weren't careful, the few of them might break their bones in anger. "That's right, we have to get out quickly," Sima Yue said. She took the 100 Ghost banner and kept the evil soul inside. Then the 3 of them flew towards Wu Lingyu and the others. "Be careful." The space was trembling, and the cracks from before were getting bigger. When they were flying, Black Shadow wasn't paying attention and almost fell in. At the last moment, he was pulled back by Sima Yue. "These cracks are getting bigger. I'm afraid it won't last much longer. We have to get out quickly," Mou said. Sima Yue was a little anxious. Although Wu Lingyu and the others noticed that something was wrong with the space, they didn't have any intention of stopping. Now that the cracks were getting bigger, they probably wouldn't be able to last more than 2 moves. However, whoever stopped at this time would be giving the other party a chance to kill them. So they didn't attack at this time, but they couldn't leave either. "No, if this goes on, everyone will be finished," Sima Yue said to Black Shadow and Mou. "We can only try now." "What?" Before Black Shadow could finish asking, he and Mou were kept in the spirit pagoda by Sima Yue. Looking at the broken space, she took a deep breath, closed her eyes, and disappeared from the spot. Then she appeared beside Wu Lingyu. She stared at Bandit 1 and didn't give him a chance to react. She held Wu Lingyu's hand and disappeared in front of him. Bandit 1's pupils constricted. He didn't expect Sima Yue to appear silently. Moreover, it was very dangerous to use this move in such a space. She actually dared to do it. He always thought that Wu Lingyu was the array master. He didn't expect that person to be her. Bandit 1. Yin Jin flew towards him. He looked up and saw that Sima Yue had already left with Huan. He didn't expect her to be so bold as to end their battle in such a way. However, there was no time to lament now. The space is about to collapse. We have to get out of here quickly. He flew towards Yin Shi. There's no time to return to the entrance now. Can't we just tear open space and leave? Yinya asked. Let me try. Bandit 1 tried to open up space, but it was useless. Instead, the space trembled even more. As for Sima Yue, although she did not have the ability to break through space, the two people beside her could. Wu Lingyu and Huan worked together to open the space. The two of them pulled Sima Yue and flew out. Fei Yi and Yin were further away, and both of them were injured, so they could only watch them leave. Just as the two of them were in despair, a long rope flew in from the exit and wrapped around the two of them, pulling them in just a second before the exit closed. Boom! Before they could completely leave, the space collapsed. Puff! The five of them had already seen the exit. At the moment when the space collapsed, the five of them were thrown out together. All of them were seriously injured and fell to the ground, unable to move. But fortunately, they were all alive. Yin Jin and Bandit 1 were lying on the ground. At this time, they still had lingering fears. Feeling their beating hearts, they felt that the past few minutes were like a dream. They were actually saved. After resting for a while, Wu Lingyu got up from the ground and took out a pill for Sima Yue to eat. Then, he fed one to Huan and ate one himself. As for the other two, he didn't want to waste this pill. Sima Yue felt pain all over her body. They were only at the exit when the space collapsed. If they were in the space or in the passage, everyone would have been crushed into meat paste. This is the first time I've seen space collapse. I feel like my body is about to be crushed. When she moved, her whole body hurt as if it was being torn apart. Don't move. Wait until your body is better. Wu Lingyu stopped her and returned to her side. He put her head on his lap to make her more comfortable. Why did you want to save the two of them? Wu Lingyu asked her. At the last moment, it was she who condensed her spiritual power into a rope and rolled the two of them into the space passage. If it weren't for her, Yin Jin and Bandit 1 would have died inside this time. When Yin Jin and Bandit 1 entered the space passage, they saw Sima Yue dispersing the rope formed by her spiritual power and knew that she was the one who saved them in the end. They were also very curious as to why she saved them. I wanted to save them, so I saved them. Sima Yue replied. I don't believe you. Wu Lingyu flicked her forehead. Did you want to discuss arrays with that array master? You already know, yet you still ask me. Sima Yue didn't deny it. Actually, when he was fighting with you, the array he used looked familiar. However, I couldn't recall it, so I subconsciously saved them. I don't know if I will save these two ungrateful wretches. Wu Lingyu snorted. I won't. Sima Yue struggled to sit up. Wu Lingyu could only help her up and let her lean into his embrace. After Sima Yue sat up, she looked at the two people lying on the ground and said, You two are more seriously injured than us. If you promise not to repay kindness with ingratitude, I will save you. Bandit 1 and Yin Jin didn't say anything. Hey, the matter of the ancient war soul is already over. You can't snatch it back now. Other than the matter of Immortal Witch's City, we don't have any grudges. You two aren't Qing Hun and Qi He's people, so we aren't considered enemies. Sima Yue said. Moreover, you two were at fault for what happened in Immortal Witch's City. Yin Jin endured the intense pain and sat up so that he was at the same level as Sima Yue. Although she was seriously injured, her eyes were clear and bright. It was easy to look into them. You're right. We don't have any political opposition. The wound was too painful. His mouth twitched. Just like what Sima Yue said, he wasn't Qing Hun and Qi He's people. There was no unresolvable grudge between him and Sima Yue. The only grudge they had was the matter of Immortal Witch's City. However, that loss was nothing compared to his and Bandit 1's lives. Sima Yue saved them and gave them a way out. He admired someone who had such courage at such a young age. Bandit 1 didn't have any grudges with Sima Yue. They just had different standpoints. In reality, since Yin Jin said so, he didn't have any objections. Moreover, he admired her ability to comprehend space. It was best if such a person didn't become enemies. Seeing the two of them like this, Sima Yue took out a bottle of pills and threw it over. Yin Jin gave one to Bandit 1 and ate one himself. Chapter 1971. In 1 second, she remembered Love Divided by You. Read book, webno pop-up window. Free to read. Yin knew that Sima Yue saved them because she wasn't worried about what they would do after they recovered. That was because they weren't afraid of them at all. Even if they wanted to do something, Wu Lingyu and Huan could deal with them. Not to mention that she still had so many ancient souls in the 100 Ghost Gonfalon. Just a few ancient souls with high combat power were enough to give them a headache. We're out. I wonder how Cousin Wan and the rest are doing. Sima Yue was worried about Yuan. She didn't know if she had left the small realm before the space collapsed. They should be fine. Wu Lingyu hugged her. According to their schedule, they should have returned to the exit a few days ago. If the space is unstable, they will know to come out. The exit was the thinnest part of the small realm. As long as they came out, they will be fine. I hope so. If not, I don't know how to answer to Mother when she comes out. Sima Yue sighed. You really kept the evil soul in the 100 Ghost Gonfalon? Yin asked. Yes, I keep my word. Sima Yue said, I'll let He create trouble for Cousin. Cousin? Deja? Yin raised his eyebrows. The reason she wanted to keep the evil soul was because of this? Cousin has been very busy ever since I came to the imperial capital. He and Qing Hun are restless and have been creating trouble at the border. Humph! Not to mention the evil soul today. Even if it's Su Yu and the rest, I'll catch them if I see them. Sima Yue snorted. I didn't expect the killing god Deja to have such a protective sister like you. Yin sighed. No wonder he dotes on you so much. When they received this news in the past, they were very surprised that Deja, who had even killed Huangzi, would dote on Sima Yue so much. Previously, she had thought that it was because she was Yu Luo's daughter. Now that she thought about it, that might have been the case when they first met. But now that she thought about it, his love for her had only increased. Even though I don't have much of a problem with the soul race and the ghost race, but the soul race is always restless and looking for trouble. I can't tolerate it. Sima Yue said. In her current state, she could only be considered a soul. However, due to her identity, those who knew that she was a soul didn't think of her as a soul race. Hearing her reason, Yin and Bandit had a better impression of her. I don't know where he fell. Bandit 1, can you tell? Yinya asked. No. Bandit 1 shook his head. Shi wanted him to deduce which part of the ghost realm they were in based on the distance between the little realm and the outside world. However, he didn't know how big the difference was between the space inside the little realm and the outside world, so he couldn't deduce it. Bandit 1, they said that you're the most powerful array master in the soul world. How about we have a spar after you've recovered? Sima Yue asked. Sure. Bandit 1 agreed. To be precise, he had the same intention. Then it's a deal. Sima Yue leaned into Wu Lingyu's embrace. She felt very tired and wanted to sleep. Suddenly, she heard the sound of the earth shaking. It can't be? Could it be that we just came out from the space collapse, and we're going to encounter another earthquake? Sima Yue exclaimed. They were all heavily injured now. If they encountered another earthquake, how could they avoid it? Boom, boom. The sound was getting closer and closer, and the ground was shaking more violently. It's not an earthquake, Wu Lingyu said. However, I'm afraid it's more troublesome than an earthquake. Everyone followed his gaze and saw a few hell apes that were as tall as hills. There were 1 or 2 people sitting on each hell ape's shoulder. There were a total of 3 women and 5 men. Sima Yue didn't feel anything when she saw those hell apes and people, but Yin and Bandit 1's expressions weren't very good. We actually came here. Logically speaking, it shouldn't be like this. Could it be that when the space collapsed, it caused the surrounding space to change? Bandit 1 muttered. Looks like it's hard to escape today. Yin was discouraged and fell back onto the ground. What's wrong? Do you guys know where this is? Sima Yue asked. Of course we know. Look at those hell apes. Their necks are all covered in white fur. These are the white-necked apes that only exist in the No Man's Land. Yin said. No Man's Land? Where is this? Sima Yue asked. In the Ghost Realm, there's a place that the Ghost Realm, Soul Realm, and Avicii Hell can't control. This is the intersection of the 3 realms. However, the real reason is the people who live here. Are they all very strong? The people here are indeed very strong. However, How can they be stronger than the three realms? It's because of their identities. Sima US still didn't understand. So what if it was their identities? This is where the real rulers of the Ghost Realm, the Nine Nether Clan, live. Surrounding the Nine Nether Clan are some noble clans. However, this is all in the past. What makes the three realms fearful is the relationship between these people and the three realms. If anyone from any of the three realms dares to touch this place, they will be suppressed by the other two realms. To put it bluntly, in the past, it was because the clans were strong. Now, it's because of the conflict between the three realms. Sima Yue said, there would usually be a blank space in the middle of a triangle. Because this place is special, normal people can't come in. Those who come in secretly can't leave this place after being caught. Even if your grandfather and Qing Hun want to come, they have to reveal their identities before coming. Now that we're here, we've been discovered. Sigh. Yin Jin's words were helpless. They were all heavily injured and had no way of protesting against these people. Even if they managed to escape, they wouldn't be able to survive for more than 3 miles in this area. Those white-necked apes were walking towards them. This meant that the other party had discovered them. If it's really like what you said, then we can only deal with whatever comes our way. Sima Yue wasn't as desperate as them. She sensed that the spirit pagoda was still fine. Black Shadow, MOU, and her beasts were inside. I heard that these white-necked apes are arrogant and aren't willing to submit to people. There's so many white-necked apes here. I wonder which clan they are from. Bandit East said, if the people who came were easy to talk to, then it would be better. If they met someone who was strong and unreasonable, then they would be in trouble. We'll know when they arrive. Sima US said, I say, if we fight later and I save you, then I'll have saved both of your lives. Bandit E and Yin Jin didn't say anything. Seeing the smile in her eyes, their instincts told them that it wouldn't be easy to repay her for saving their lives. Soon, the white-necked apes came over with people. These people don't have the aura of this place. They are indeed intruders. According to the rules, we should kill them immediately. Chapter 1972. They didn't ask for the reason, but didn't ask for their identity. Yin Jin and the others' hearts sank. It seemed like they wouldn't be able to escape today. He and Bandit 1 looked at each other. If it really came to that, they would use that move to escape first. They just needed to hide for 2 or 3 days until their injuries got better. Then they could escape. Sima Yue looked at them and planned to call them out when they made their move. Her thoughts were similar to Yin Jin and the others. They had to deal with the situation in front of them first and think about the rest later. Wait a minute. The man sitting in the middle raised his hand and stopped the other two. He said, they're all heavily injured. Don't rush to kill them. Sima Yue and the others sighed in relief. As long as not everyone said they wanted to kill them, they still had a chance. Brother and I, regardless of whether these people are injured or not, it's strange that they suddenly appeared here. We shouldn't let them go. I didn't say let them go. Zhou and I said. But these people are all injured. Who hurt them? Where are the people who hurt them now? If they are hiding, we can at least get some information from them. Brother and I is right. We can't kill them so carelessly. We have to at least ask about the situation first. Someone agreed. Sima Yue and Yin Jin looked at each other. They had the same idea. No one could speak. These people seem to be heavily injured. They are about to lose consciousness and can't speak. Should we bring them back? Yes. Bring them back and lock them up. Zhou and I ordered. Lock them up in the dungeon. Don't let them escape. The white-necked apes walked forward and grabbed one person in each hand. Their palms were almost as wide as a person's body. It was as if they were rolling them up. Luckily, Zhou and I reminded them to be careful not to kill them. They didn't hold them so tightly. Let's go back to the tribe. Zhou and I ordered. The white-necked apes turned around and went back. Sima Yu and Wu Lingyu were hugging each other before, so when the white-necked ape caught them, it also caught them in one hand. Wu Lingyu protected her the moment they were grabbed. This way, she wouldn't be hurt by the white-necked apes. Are we going to their clan, just like that? He transmitted his voice to her. It's not good to fight now. Why don't we go back and rest for a few days? At the same time, I want to understand the situation here. Otherwise, I will be like a headless fly if I continue to run like this. Sima Yue replied. Even if he went to the clan, once his body recovered, he might be able to escape. In any case, the situation couldn't get any worse. But you'll have to go to jail. Wu Lingyu's heart ached that she had to go to such a place even though she was injured. It's okay. As long as you're here, it's all the same. Her words warmed Wu Lingyu's heart, and she couldn't help but hug her even tighter. The white-necked ape that was holding them felt some movement in its hand. When it looked down, there was nothing. Yin Jin and Bandit E were held in the hands of another white-necked ape. When they opened their eyes, they could see each other. Resigned to fate, don't move for now. The two of them exchanged glances and then decided to do so. However, this was the first time in their lives that they would go to jail. They felt that they had been walking for a long time. They were swaying and dizzy. Coupled with their serious injuries, several of them couldn't help but faint. Only Wu Lingyu and Huan were slightly better and were conscious all the way. Young master, young miss, didn't you say that you were going to visit? Why are you back so soon? Someone asked. Not far away, we saw a few intruders. We caught them and brought them back. There were intruders? Why didn't you just kill them? Why did you catch them? These people all suffered the same injuries. We caught them and interrogated them to see if anyone else came here. Zhou and I explained. A few of you come here and put them in jail. Yes. The sound of the conversation woke Sima Yue up, but she didn't open her eyes. She felt someone coming over and took them from the white-necked ape. Then, each of them carried one person to the jail. After locking them in 2 rooms, they all left. Bang! The door closed, and the 5 of them opened their eyes at the same time. After feeling that there was no one around, they all sat up. This jail is really big. Sima Yue saw that there were only 4 rooms. It was so clean that it looked like a civilian house. No matter how she looked at it, it couldn't be connected to a jail. Look at how disappointed you are. Isn't it good to have such an environment? Yin Jin teased her. I'm a little disappointed. I thought I could really experience life in jail. Sima Yue was seriously disappointed. In a place like this, the intruders are all killed directly. How can there be anything about locking them up? This is probably used to occasionally lock up people in the clan who have made mistakes. Bandit once said. Perhaps it was because he admired Sima Yue that Bandit once spoke more than usual. However, Sima Yue didn't know that. Only Yin Jin looked at him a little more. It's just nice for them to recuperate. Yin Jin said, but why is your pill so effective on the injuries of the Soul Clan? Although they were all healing pills, the Ghost Clan and the Soul Clan were different. It was obvious that the pill she gave them was targeted at the Soul Clan. But why did she have the Soul Clan's pill? I'm giving it to you. Why are you asking so much? Sima Yue rolled her eyes at him. Then, she leaned into Wu Lingyu's arms to rest. Luckily, Wu Lingyu pulled her closer to the exit. He received less impact and was the least injured. Now, he could be her back. Yin Jin and Bandit One were curious. This Ghost Clan's little princess had the Soul Clan's pill on her. It was strange no matter how they thought about it. Suddenly, they remembered that she used to be a human. However, they couldn't feel her human aura at all. Could it be that you're a soul body? Yin Jin and Bandit One were shocked by this guess. The Ghost Clan's little princess was a soul body. It was equivalent to saying that she was from the Soul Clan. How scary would that be? It's nothing. Grandfather doesn't care. Sima Yue didn't deny it. If I say I'm from the Soul Clan, would Qing Hun dare to admit it? That's true. You're injured so badly. Don't talk anymore and recuperate. Wu Lingyu hugged her. The 2 of them healed their injuries. Huan automatically ignored the 2 of them. He sat cross-legged and closed his eyes to heal his injuries. Yin Jin and Bandit One stopped talking and healed their injuries. These people wouldn't come to heal their injuries. However, they probably wouldn't disturb them for the next 2 days. In the eyes of those people, their injuries were too serious. They wouldn't wake up every 2 or 3 days. It was useless to come to them. Because they guessed that there were still people here, their focus for the next 2 days should be on searching for those people. And these 2 days were their chance. Remember the mobile version of the website. M. Chapter 1973. Just as they had guessed, no one came to disturb them for the past 2 days. With the help of high-grade pills, they recovered at lightning speed. Their external injuries had healed by 30 to 40%. If only there was something that could make them ignore us. Give us a few more days, and we'll be able to recover by 70 to 80%. Jin said they had only recovered by 30 to 40%. If they were to fight with those people, they had no chance of winning. Sima Yu thought so as well. She wondered if she should find something for them to do so that they would ignore her. At this moment, the scarlet bees that they had placed outside brought good news. They actually found someone who had entered. This was really. Feeling the joy from her body, Jin asked her, "What's the good news?" They were prepared to interrogate us just now. Sima Yu said, "How is that good news? Why are you so happy?" Jin snorted. Then, the people who came went back halfway. Sima Yu continued, "Really? Why?" "That's because they've really encountered an outsider," Sima Yu said, "and those people were obviously unwilling to be killed, so they were resisting. Most of the people from this clan went after them." Wu Lingyu and the others looked at her in disbelief. Was there such a coincidence? Those people were discovered this time. These people would naturally think that those people were the ones who hurt them. If those people were more powerful and didn't get caught, those people wouldn't think of them for the time being. Instead, they would go after those people. This way, they would have more time. I wonder who's so unlucky. While Jin was rejoicing, he was also gloating. Those people were able to sneak in, which meant that they had some ability. They were careful all the way and did not expect to be discovered. They must be depressed. How could these people investigate so closely? They did not know that it was all because of them. Sima Yu also felt that those people were unlucky, but she did not gloat as much as Jin. I hope those people can hold on for a while longer. If they were caught today, then we would have been happy for nothing. She reminded, indeed. However, since they were able to persist until here, it meant that they had some ability. People with strength are not so easy to catch. I hope so. Take care of your injuries. After Sima Yu said that, she did not continue. She got up and walked 2 rounds. Aren't you going to heal yourself? I need to do something else. She took out the 100 Ghost banner and began to refine the ancient war souls inside. Although these ancient fighting souls had been absorbed, they were not completely under her control. Now that she had recovered a lot of her spiritual power, if she could control it well, they wouldn't have to worry about not being able to get out this time. Have you thought it through? Jin looked at her seriously. Once the 100 Ghost banner appears, you will have a lot of trouble in the future. The 100 Ghost streamer was a treasure that the entire Ghost realm scrambled for. Once they knew that she had it, many people would want to snatch it away. Those who don't die can come and try. Anyway, my 100 Ghost banner can still hold a lot of people. Sima Yu said indifferently. Truly domineering. When Yinya thought of so many ancient war spirits, he felt his heart ache. Those guys were supposed to be his, but she snatched them all away. Who asked him to have never expected the appearance of the 100 Ghost banner to appear? Sima Yu knew that he was upset, so she said gratefully, "Speaking of which, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have been able to obtain these ancient war spirits so smoothly. Thank you so much." Jin snorted and didn't reply to her. Speaking of which, your main sect is really powerful. You can actually control the minds of souls in such a large area. Sima Yu had some understanding of sound attacks in the past, but it wasn't as effective as his. How do you think I became the second in charge of the main sect? Yinya snorted. Not everyone was like the evil soul who relied on connections to get to the top. I see that the tune you play is different from Chunying's. Do you have a specific tune? Or is it fine as long as it's music? Sima Yu asked. Why are you asking so many questions? Do you want to learn? Jin raised his eyebrows. It's not bad if I can learn. There's no harm in having more skills. Sima Yu admitted her thoughts. You want to be my disciple? I dare to do that. Do you dare to accept me? Sima Yu snorted. Jin's face darkened. Firstly, it was because of her attitude. Secondly, it was because he dared to accept her, but he couldn't. Although she had saved his life, she was still the little princess of the Ghost Clan. If anyone knew about this, it would give Qing Hun something to use against him. Actually, it's not a big deal for you to give me some pointers. Sima Yue looked at him. If anyone criticizes you, you can just say that you're indebted to me for saving your life and gave me some pointers. Who can blame you then? You've already thought of an excuse for me. Are you so sure that I'll teach you? Yan Jin said, It seems like you had this in mind when you saved me from the start. If I said that I didn't, would you believe me? No. Then there's no need to be bothered about this. It doesn't matter if there's an outcome or not. Sima Yue said, You'd better go and study your 100 Ghost Banner. Yan Jin closed his eyes after he finished speaking. He intended to continue talking to her about this. Sima Yue wasn't angry. This kind of thing needed to be dealt with, especially for someone like Yan Jin. He didn't like to owe others, but he wouldn't agree to teach her so easily. So she let him be bothered by it. She had to seize the time to refine those ancient war souls. She hoped that those people could hold on for a while longer so that she could refine some of them. Not far from where they were, a group of people were hiding in the mountains. Many of them were injured, and the group was in a sorry state. The leader, Su Yu, had a face darker than the bottom of a pot. He was emitting a cold aura, and no one dared to go near him. Commander, this is too strange. The guard beside him said, No one noticed us on our way here. How did we get discovered the moment we arrived here? Also, we found out that these people seem to be searching this area. It's as if they knew that we were coming here. This is indeed strange. Another person agreed. Commander, could it be that someone leaked the news? You're saying that there's a mole among our people? So you looked at that person and narrowed his eyes. The person who said this was shocked by his gaze. He subconsciously took 2 steps back and said, I'm just guessing. It can't be my people. Su Yu said, Instead of guessing, why don't you suggest a way to get out of this encirclement? You're our guide. You should be very clear about the area you live in. Chapter 1974. Su Yu was very depressed. His plan in the ghost realm was forced to be put on hold. In order to atone for his mistake, he thought of coming here to look for the clear snow lotus that he had always wanted. Because there was someone leading the way, they were fine all the way and were not discovered by anyone. They did not expect to be attacked one after another here, and those people came rather quickly, as if they were preparing nearby. Commander, there are more people coming. The guard on sentry duty said. Su Yu stared at the guide they found, his gaze cold. I'll give you 1 day to get rid of these people. Otherwise, you don't need to live anymore. Yes. That person was chilled by his gaze and quickly replied, Let's go this way. It seemed that for his own life, he had to show his true ability. However, they spent 7 to 8 days and still could not get out of this place. The people of this family seemed to have received someone's guidance. No matter where they hid, they could find them. It was as if there was really a traitor. However, they also checked, and no one was suspicious. After a while, everyone was eliminated. Since it was not their problem, then what was going on? Unable to understand this point, everyone felt stifled in their hearts. They blamed this crime on the guide, feeling that he did not lead the way well. When Su Yu was furious, he really wanted to kill him. In the end, he was persuaded by the guard beside him. They were fine before, and it was indeed thanks to him. They were unfamiliar with this place. If they killed him, it would be difficult for them to continue on their journey. The anger in Su Yu's heart could not be vented on this, so he could only vent it casually. Who knew that he was so strong that he directly cut off half of the mountain, attracting people nearby. They had no choice but to continue escaping. Sima Yue was in the prison. When she received the news, she was convulsing with laughter. She did not expect that the unlucky person would be Su Yu and his subordinates. She let the scarlet bees follow them all the way. After finding their tracks, she created some traces so that they could not escape. However, these people were really powerful. After dragging on for so many days, their injuries were almost healed. The ancient war soul in her 100 Ghost Banner was almost refined. Yin Jin sympathized with Ruin Valley in his heart. This fellow was a man with strength, cunning, and cunning. In front of me, he had a lot of face. Unfortunately, he met Sima Yue. Last time, Deja had used his people and things as a cover for the incident in the Immortal Witchcraft City. Naturally, he had found out the reason and knew about the Ruin Valley's plan. Sima Yue was the cause of the Immortal Witchcraft City and this incident. It could be said that she was his nemesis. Bandit 1 had a good relationship with Yin Qi. Naturally, he had heard about how Sima Yue had ruined Ruin Valley's plan. On the surface, it looked like Deja had dealt with this matter, but Su Yuha and the others knew that the culprit was still her. Thinking back to those who had gone against her in the beginning, it seemed that they were also very pitiful. This woman was not old, but she was shocking. He had strength, background, and brains. He had so many underworld beasts and knew so many things, which meant that he had a very good encounter. To make an enemy of such a person, only a fool would do such a thing. No wonder she died so young in the human realm. Her luck was too good. This was also his speculation based on what he had seen. If he knew about her past, he would not sigh at her early death. Instead, he would say that it was good that she died. Since I've almost recovered, we can leave at any time. Sima Yue said, let's find something to do before they come. Everyone looked at her, not knowing what she wanted to do. Sima Yue smiled at Yin Qi and said, have you thought about that matter? Who demands repayment like you? Yin Qi scolded her. He was just short of saying that she was really thick-skinned. Gratitude in this lifetime must be repaid in this lifetime. When we separate, it will be difficult to see each other in the future, let alone have a chance to repay the debt. Look, you're a cultivator. What if you can't repay the debt and leave behind an inner demon that affects your cultivation? I'm doing this for your own good. Sima Yue did not feel embarrassed. Yin Qi's mouth twitched. So, I should thank you for thinking for me? You don't have to thank me. Just tell me about your sound attack. Yin Qi, Bandit saw Yin Qi's frown and looked at him with pity. She was right. Yin Qi did not want to owe anyone a debt of gratitude. Otherwise, he would not have told her about Gu Zhanwen just because he owed the evil soul master a debt of gratitude. Although she was the one who asked, if he was not willing to tell, they would not know. She even brought him to the little realm. Now that he owed her such a huge debt of gratitude, he had already made a decision in his heart. But because of her identity, he could not make this decision so quickly. Actually, it's not impossible to give you a few pointers. Yin Qi said, but the essence of my sect is not something that can be explained in a few pointers. You can also join my sect. Even if I give you pointers, you won't be able to learn anything. It's okay. I'll give you as much as you can. Sima Yue was not greedy. She just felt that their sound attack was more powerful than the one she had seen before. She was just curious. If she could learn it, she would learn it. If she could not, she would not force it. Do you know any musical instruments? Yes, flute, guzheng, and flute. Yin Qi set up a soundproof barrier and said, play one for me. Sima Yue took out a jade flute and played a song. Yin Qi nodded after hearing it and said, you're skilled in finger techniques. It seems like I don't need to teach you the basics. Then I'll just teach you the basics of sound attacks. What you can learn will depend on you. All right. Yin Qi was very serious. Although he only wanted to give her a few pointers, he could not be perfunctory. Sima Yue listened very seriously. She thought that Yin Qi would be perfunctory. She did not expect him to be so serious. Hence, she learned it well. She followed his instructions for a day and actually managed to learn it. Yin Qi watched her play a complete song. Although she was not very skilled, to be able to achieve this in just a day was already a heaven-defying talent. No wonder she knew everything. With her talent, he could not help but admire her. In order to not feel like he owed her, he taught her all the tricks of sound attacks in the next few days. Sima Yue accepted it all. Although she did not understand the more profound ones, she would have time to learn them in the future. At this moment, she did not know that Yin Qi's sound attack was the most powerful in the main sect. At the same time, it was also unique. Using his method to learn the basics had left his mark. Someone is coming. Wu Lingyi reminded. Yin Qi removed the barrier. After waiting for more than 10 days, these people finally remembered them. Chapter 1975. It had to be said that these people were really magnanimous. They locked them up for more than 10 days and didn't think of them. They only went to deal with those intruders. Didn't they think that there might be two different groups of people? However, they later found out that it wasn't that these people didn't think of them, but that the people who caught them were all sent out. They left in a hurry and didn't think of telling their clansmen about them. That was why they were forgotten until now. Clang, the lock was opened, and Zhou and I brought people in. Seeing the people who had fully recovered after being locked up for more than 10 days, he said, "Bring them out." The Zhou clansmen came over and opened the door. Sima Yue and the others got up and dusted off their clothes, saying, "We'll leave on our own." Zhou and I didn't make things difficult for them and turned to leave. Sima Yue and the others also left under the encirclement of a group of people. Perhaps they were too confident in their own strength and felt that the 5 of them couldn't escape from the clan. That was why they didn't even tie them up and just brought them out. At this time, they could finally take a good look at the environment of the Zhou clan. It was surrounded by mountains and water. White mist lingered around it. It felt like a fairyland in a human world. These people always feel that they're out of this world. They feel that they're different from a mortal world. They want this kind of fairy-like place. Inya said Sima Yoyue's thoughts. "Don't talk." The people at the side scolded. Inya curled his lips and didn't speak anymore. If they didn't want to talk, then so be it. Who cares about comments? Zhou and I brought them to the living area. There were many people here. Those people looked at them angrily. Other than the previous xenophobia, there seemed to be more anger now. Sima Yue naturally knew what they were angry about. Ruin Valley was the commander under Che He. They managed to escape from 3 layers of encirclement. After leaving their territory, those people were no longer under their control. However, they would be laughed at by the people behind them. They couldn't even catch a group of outsiders. How useless. This was even more infuriating than the appearance of outsiders. And these people should be related to those people. If they asked them, they would know the identity of those people. Zhou and I brought them to a spacious and simple house. There were dozens of people sitting in a house. The moment they entered, those people's sharp gazes landed on them. "Patriarch, I've brought them here." Zhou and I bowed. "It's been hard on you. You still have injuries on your body, and you just came back. Go and rest first." The white-bearded old man said, "Patriarch, we were the ones who captured these people. It's my fault for not interrogating them in time. I want to stay and see if they can give us any useful information." Zhou and I said, "All right, then you can stay." Zhou and I sat at the end of the row. The people who were escorting them shouted, "Kneel!" Yue and the rest didn't care. These people didn't have a right to make them kneel. Juan glanced at him lightly, and the man who spoke felt his scalp go numb. The faces of the Zhou family members were not very good. From where Juan stood, it could be seen that he was just a guard. Even a guard had such an imposing aura. These people's identities were probably not simple. However, so what if it was not simple? This was a lawless area. Who would dare to behave atrociously here? "Who are you? Why did you sneak into my Zhou clan's territory? What was his motive? Who were the people who hurt you?" Patriarch Zhou asked. "Old Master Zhou, if you're willing to talk to us properly, we will tell you what you want to know. If you want to kill us for asking questions, then I advise you to save your worries. The people you have outside are not enough." Sima Yue said, "Are you threatening us?" Zhou clan's great elder Zhou Lai said, "How is this a threat? We have no enmity with each other. There is no need to make things worse." Sima Yue shook her head. "To be honest, we just came here by accident. We don't have any intention of harming you. Although you came here and shouted to kill us, objectively, you just provided us with a safe and stable environment to heal our injuries. We are actually very friendly. They obviously wanted to capture them for interrogation, but they forgot about them and let them stay in prison for more than 10 days to heal their injuries. This was not a glorious thing for them. A group of rascals dare to talk terms with my Zhou clan. How dare you? Do you think that after entering this door, you can still walk out? Do you think you can walk without guts?" Sima Yue did not care about their threat at all. She looked at Zhou and said, Patriarch Zhou, what do you say? Since ancient times, people who trespassed into the triangle area have never returned. Why do you have to talk terms with us? Zhou asked. Sima Yue shook her finger. We are not talking terms with you. We just want to choose a path that is beneficial to everyone. You think that we can't fight against your clan, but can you guarantee that we won't drag your entire clan down with us? We could just send a few people to kill you. Someone sneered, disapproving of her words. I'll only say one thing. The injuries on our bodies were not caused by anyone. It was caused by the collapse of space. Sima Yu said, in this case, Patriarch Zhou, do you think we have the qualifications to say this? The Zhou family members took a deep breath. They had heard from Zhou and I that the 5 of them were severely injured. They did not expect that they were caused by the collapse of the dimension. If that was the case, they had to reevaluate their abilities. How many people could survive such a situation? They thought that they were just ordinary intruders. They did not expect them to be experts. Zhou looked at Sima Yue from head to toe. He suddenly felt that she looked familiar, but he could not remember where he had seen her before. Were you really thrown into the triangle area during the collapse of the dimension? That's right. Otherwise, how could you be so severely injured without any signs of fighting? Sima Yue said. Zhou looked at Zhou and I. Yes, there were only 5 of them lying on the ground. There were no signs of fighting. Zhou and I replied. If they were so severely injured, it was impossible for them to appear out of nowhere. At least there would be signs of fighting. Who knows if this is just a ruse you're trying to injure yourself in order to infiltrate my clan? Someone guessed. The Zhou family members originally wanted to believe her words. After hearing her point of view, they felt that it made sense. What if it was just a ruse to gain sympathy? Sima Yue rolled her eyes at that person. Are you stupid? The outsiders were so severely injured. If it was you, are you sure you wouldn't be killed? You must be crazy to think that way. Chapter 1976. The Zhou family members wanted to be angry, but didn't dare to. If they followed her words, wouldn't they be admitting that they were stupid? And what she said made sense. Even if they wanted to use the trick of injuring themselves, they wouldn't have hurt themselves to that extent. They all lost consciousness. If they wanted to kill them, they wouldn't have been able to fight back. So, it was too much to say that it was a trick of injuring oneself. In that case, you were indeed thrown here. The great elder said, That's right. So you can forget about your conspiracy theories for now. Sima Yue said, So what? Kill all the intruders. Someone didn't agree with reconciliation. This person was obviously the war type, second elder of the Zhou family. As the second elder, you don't think about the stability of the family. All you think about is fighting and killing. Aren't you afraid that you'll drag the family down one day? Sima Yue asked, How do you know that I'm the second elder? The second elder was sure that he had never seen her before, but she could accurately recognize him. So, they had indeed come prepared. Not only do I know that you're the second elder, I also know that you were injured by Ruin Valley. Oh, that's the leader of the Soul Clan. Sima Yue said, How do you know that we and the Soul Clan? The second elder looked at her in shock. Who are you? How do you know all this? The Zhou family members didn't believe that she came here without a purpose. Otherwise, how would she know all this? Now, they were all looking at her strangely. Why are you so nervous? Sima Yue felt tired from standing. Just as she was about to move her feet, Wu Lingyu took a chair and placed it behind her. She smiled at him and sat on the chair. She looked at them calmly without explaining anything. Both sides were in a stalemate. Yanjin also felt tired from waiting. He took out a chair and sat down. But this chair was much more flashy. It was a luxurious chair with various gems embedded in the back. It was comparable to a throne. Sima Yue looked at his chair and pursed her lips. She didn't expect him to be such a flashy person. The Zhou family members looked at Yanjin and were secretly shocked. Where did this person come from? He didn't seem to be subordinate to Sima Yue. Buzz, 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 a weak sound came from outside. Then the people outside shouted, Ah, why are there so many bees? The densely packed scarlet bees were flying around outside, but they didn't attack anyone. They just stopped all over the place. Only a small portion flew into the discussion hall and landed on Sima Yuyu's shoulder. Don't attack. Zhou looked at Sima Yuyu. She was playing with the scarlet bee in her hand. She was very calm and confident. She didn't feel anxious about being in prison. After talking for so long, I still don't know your name. His tone was much gentler. Sima Yuyu. Sima Yuyu? From her surname, she didn't seem to be from a big family or power. Why was her aura so strong that they couldn't even look at her directly? Don't think that she's a nobody. She's the Ghost King's favorite little princess. Yanjin leaned on the chair lazily. Since when did the Ghost King have a little princess with a different surname? The Ghost King had many princesses, but they all had the surname Yu. None of them had a different surname. That's true. She's only been in the ghost world for more than 10 years. Although she's quite famous outside, I don't think it's spread to here. Yin Jin said slowly. Although you don't know her, you definitely know her mother. She's the Ghost King's youngest daughter, Yu Kaluo. What? She's Yu Kaluo's daughter? The Zhou family members were shocked. The head of the Zhou family finally remembered why she looked so familiar. She looked very similar to her mother. He had seen Yu Kaluo from afar before, but their ages didn't match. Hence, he didn't connect the two together. Speaking of which, the Dark Princess has helped us before. I didn't expect that we would treat the daughter of our benefactor poorly today. I'm really sorry. Zhou stood up and bowed to Sima Yue. Head, since when did the Dark Princess help us? The others didn't know and thought that he was making it up. That year, the old ancestor was about to die. In order to refine the level-breaking pill for him, we went to Yao Lao to ask for a guiding herb. Do you still remember? Zhou asked. Of course we remember. If Yao Lao didn't give us the guiding herb, the old ancestor wouldn't be able to break through and live until now. The second elder said. Then you should also remember that we went to visit him many times, but were rejected at the door. Zhou said. Yao Lao didn't care about the things we took. There were a few times when the medicine boy came to send us away, until the last time. Zhou recalled. The great elder thought of something and called out, Head, could it be that girl from that day? That's right. Zhou nodded. That day when we went, we were stopped outside as usual. At that time, a girl looked out of the attic's window and heard a girl's voice. She said that since she had come so many times, it meant that she was very anxious about the herbs. Since you have so much, why don't you give it to me? Not long later, a medicine boy came out with the herbs we needed. When we left, I heard two medicine boys talking about the Dark Princess. As expected, you kept saying that there was a girl. I didn't expect it to be her. The great elder said emotionally. That's right. I haven't heard any news about her for a long time. I didn't expect to see her daughter again. Zhou said. They didn't expect it to be like this. The Zhou clan felt awkward. The person they wanted to torture and interrogate was actually the daughter of their benefactor. Now that they saw her, they felt embarrassed. It seems like there's no need to fight today. Yanjin didn't expect the situation to change so suddenly. The Zhou clan clearly remembered Yu Kaluo's kindness. No fighting, no fighting. Since the little princess is the daughter of the Dark Princess, she is naturally our guest. Besides, didn't you say it yourself? You didn't invade this place on purpose. How can we keep harping on this? Zhou said. Zhou Hui, go tidy up Lin Lawn courtyard for the guests to stay in. A girl stood up and acknowledged. She went to tidy up the best guest courtyard. Zhou said to Sima Yuyu, Young princess, since you've come here, why don't you stay in the clan for a while longer? Give us a chance and let us play host to you. All right? Sima Yue looked at Wu Lingyu. Seeing that he didn't have any objections, she agreed. She kept the scarlet bees. The dense swarm of scarlet bees flew in, causing them to have trypophobia. After keeping the scarlet bees, she said to Zhou, Head Zhou, I want to ask you something. Chapter 1977. Zhou dismissed his clansmen. There was no need to interrogate her for now, so they did not need to stay here. What does little princess want to ask? Sima Yue looked at Yin Jin and Bandit 1. Bandit 1 wanted to leave, but Yin Jin sat on the chair and had no intention of leaving. Seeing Sima Yue looking at him, he even raised his eyebrows and was determined not to leave. These people were indebted to Yu Keluo, so they were indebted to her and not them. If they were stupid and wanted to deal with him, he would not bother to do it. He had seen how stupid the people in the Triangle region were. Sima Yue saw that he was not leaving and did not chase him away. She asked Zhou, Patriarch Zhou, I want to ask you, is this place far from the 9th Underworld Mountain? Under the 9th Underworld Mountain lived the 9th Underworld clan. They were once the true rulers of the ghost world. Zhou and Yin Jin were both shocked by her sudden question. Why would she ask such a question? Why, Patriarch Zhou, can't I tell you? Sima Yue asked. It's not that I can't tell you, but I didn't expect you to ask this. Zhou said. Are you going to the 9th Underworld Mountain to find the 9th Underworld clan? Yes, Sima Yue admitted. It's not that I don't want to tell you, but I don't know either. How can that be? Aren't you all in this region? How can you not know where the 9th Underworld Mountain is? The 9th Underworld Mountain has not appeared for many years. Although there are still rumors about them, it's all in the past. Now, very few people know the whereabouts of the 9th Underworld Mountain. Even those who know can't go in. I heard that no one has entered the 9th Underworld Mountain for hundreds of years. Zhou said. Hundreds of years? Isn't that too exaggerated? Could it be that someone went in but did not spread the news? Wuling, you guessed. No, it said that to enter the 9th Underworld Mountain, one must have the bloodline of the 9th Underworld clan. Also, there are guards outside the 9th Underworld Mountain. They said that no one has entered for a long time. Zhou said with certainty. This was something that everyone in the Triangle region knew. Sima Yue touched her chin. She didn't know if her grandfather had gone in. And her mother, had she gone in? Is my grandmother on 9 Nether Mountain now? Little princess, are you going to 9 Nether Mountain? Zhou asked. Yes. Originally, she didn't have any plans. However, when Yanqi said that 9 Underworld Mountain was also in this area, she suddenly had an idea. Perhaps she could go and take a look. When the old ancestor had passed the underworld energy to her, he had hoped that she would lead the 9 Nether clan to prosperity. Now that he was here, how could he let go of this opportunity? TSK, I advise you to give up. Yinya sneered. Not just anyone could go to 9 Nether Mountain. Didn't you hear that one must have the bloodline of the 9 Nether clan? Can't I just think about it? Sima Yue looked at him. I said, I want to stay as a guest. Why aren't you going back to your soul society? Now that you've lost the evil soul, I'm afraid that Kahi and the forces behind him won't let you off, right? Why aren't you going back to deal with it? The gloating on your face is too obvious. Can't you be a little more reserved? You know that they won't let me off. I can't go back now. Isn't that just asking for trouble? That's why I want to hide here for a while. Yinya said that he was afraid, but he didn't look worried at all. If you want to pretend, you should at least be more professional. Sima Yue said in disdain. He's from the Soul Clan? Then why is he with the little princess? Zhou asked. We met in the Little Realm. Then I don't know his identity. Although we can invite you as guests, we have to know his identity first. This is also the rule here. He's the second in command of the main sect, Yanqi, Sima Yue said. Then she pointed at Bandit One and said, This is the best array master in the Soul Society, Bandit One. They are Yin, Qi, and Bandit One. You know them. Then I don't need to introduce them anymore. Sima Yue said. Actually, no matter how much she wanted to say, she couldn't. Of course I know Yin Qi and Bandit One. It's just that I haven't seen them before. Zhou smiled. They didn't expect Zhou and I to bring back so many powerful people. No wonder they were so confident. With Yin Qi and Bandit One, even if they killed them, they would definitely lose many of their people. Luckily, the little princess wasn't someone who liked to fight. Otherwise, the consequences would be unimaginable. You don't have to care about us. We'll just go with them, Yin Qi said. At this moment, Zhou Hui came back. She said that the courtyard was ready and they could invite the guests over. Zhou personally sent them over and told them to tell him if they needed anything. He also said that he would personally bring them around the area. Patriarch Zhou, you're busy. You don't have to care about us. We'll go out when we want to. If there are any forbidden areas, just let us know in advance. Sima Yue said. All right. Zhou told them about the forbidden areas in the Zhou family. He said that if they needed him, they could call him. Then, Zhou planned to leave. Sima Yue stopped him and said, Patriarch Zhou, the people who escaped from you this time are called Ruins Valley. They're one of the 10 commanders under Qi He. They seem to have come to the triangular area to find some treasure. They've already left your territory. They had told them the person's identity and whereabouts. It was their own business whether to chase after them or not. Zhou left gratefully. I say, why do you want to stay? Yin Qi asked her. I want to stay. Sima Yue replied. I say, why do you want to stay with me? I want to stay. I want to stay. Yin Qi used her own words to reply. She was so angry that she almost died. Actually, they all knew that if they didn't figure out the situation here, how could they just leave? This was too out of character. You still want to deal with Ruins Valley? Yin Qi asked. So what if I do? You want to help me? Sima Yue snorted. Or are you going to snitch? None of them. Yin Jin stretched and said lazily, I prefer to watch the fun. Since you want to follow me, you can't cause trouble for me. I'll say the ugly words up front. If anything happens to you, I won't help you. Everything else is up to you. After Sima Yue finished speaking, she returned to the house with Wu Lingyu. As soon as she entered, she said, Lingyu, quickly call Fuxi out and check on his condition. Wu Lingyu opened her little realm and brought Fuxi out. Yue, Lingyu, you finally let me out. Are you guys all right? Fuxi asked as soon as he came out. He had also sensed Wu Lingyu's injury in the little realm. Thus, he was extremely worried. He had been wondering if something had happened to her. He hadn't recovered yet. I'm fine. Sima Yue smiled at him. Sit down, I'll check on your body. Chapter 1978. Fuxi sat on the chair obediently and let her examine him. Actually, he could already feel the changes in his body, but he did not know how it was recovering. After Sima Yue finished examining him, her eyes lit up with joy. It seems like it's working. Your body is already growing. Do you feel pain in your body recently? Yes. I feel pain in my bones, especially in my joints. However, you mentioned that this might happen before, so I wasn't worried. Fuxi replied. Yes. Now that it's growing, half of your problem is solved. Sima Yue said. What about the other half? Do you think it'll be fine as long as your body regains its growth? Sima Yue retracted her hand. MOU seal can only protect you for half a year. 2 months have already passed, which means you only have 4 months left. We have to make your body strong enough in these 4 months, at least to be able to support the power in your body. Also, when the seal is removed, you have to let it merge perfectly with you, or else you won't be able to use this power. Fuxi was touched. She had really considered everything for him. Don't be so touched. Let's do today's electric shock first. Then I'll prepare a medicinal bath for you. Sima Yue said, You have to grit your teeth and persevere. Seeing you like this, I suddenly feel scared. Fuxi had a bad feeling. It's not that scary, Sima Yue said, but the smile on her face did not seem to agree. Fuxi wanted to protest, but he could not. After all, this was for his own body, so he could only grit his teeth and do it. Sima Yue let him lie on the bed and gave him electric shocks, as usual, then let him rest while she prepared a medicinal bath for him. When she opened the door, she saw Yin Jin coming over. What are you doing? Why did you feel the lightning? Yin Jin asked. Saving people. Sima Yue moved aside, and Yin Jin saw Fuxi inside. Fuxi would be following her, so she could not be secretive now. As for the reason, there was no need to tell him. Who is this little kid? How did it appear? Yinya asked. Sima Yue briefly explained what happened in the little realm, and then said, I still have something to do. In other words, since you already know, you can leave now. What do you want? I'll help you. Sima Yue, in the end, he was driven away by her. How could she let him see what she wanted to do? She knew that Yin Qi was now curious about her. He wanted to know more about her situation and learn more about her. She would be a fool to let him come. She knew that there was a natural hot spring bath here, so she wanted to take a look. She felt that using it as a medicinal bath would be better, so she took out a wooden bucket and poured the hot spring water into it. Then, she refined the medicinal herbs one by one and poured them in. By the time she was done, the sky was already dark. She asked Wu Lingyu to carry Fushi over, take off his clothes, and put him inside. Sima Yue ordered without raising her head as she checked the silver needles. Wu Lingyu stripped Fushi naked, leaving only his underwear, and threw him into the water. The intense pain made Fushi cry out, but he forced himself to endure it. However, his smiling face was pale from the pain. His whole body was already in pain after the anesthetic effect wore off. Now that he was thrown into the water, he felt as if his entire body was no longer his own. Sima Yue pushed a small table over and said, although this medicinal bath is very painful, the effect is very good. Moreover, with your body that was just electrocuted, the effect will be doubled. At the same time, the pain will also be doubled. Fushi nodded slightly. In order to survive, he had to endure it. Sima Yue saw that he was in so much pain and stuffed the towel into his mouth. Don't bite your mouth. Fushi bit the towel, and they could hear him gurgling. Wu Lingyu glanced at him, his eyes filled with praise. He knew how painful this medicinal bath was. In the past, he had been tortured by Old Man Devil. Not to mention that he had just been electrocuted and his body was already injured. However, other than the cry he made when he was in the water, he had not made any other sound. This guy's willpower was not bad. I'll give you acupuncture now to speed up the absorption and reduce the pain, Sima Yue said. Fushi nodded slightly. Sima Yue inserted needles into his exposed areas. His skinny shoulders and head were densely packed with needles. How are you feeling now? Much better. Fushi bit the towel and could not speak clearly, but Sima Yue could still understand. The pain had lessened, but it was still very painful. She did not know how long it would take for it to end. Just as he was about to lose consciousness, he felt someone carry him, wipe his body, and put him on a soft bed. Then, she finally fell into a deep sleep. For him, this night was the most difficult night he had ever had in years. In the past, everyone around him felt sorry for him and could not bear to see him in so much pain. Even the slightest discomfort would make their hearts ache for a long time. If they knew that he was in such a state, they would probably jump out of their seats. Fortunately, the pain was not in vain. After sleeping for a day and night, he woke up and realized that the injuries from the electrocution were mostly healed and did not hurt anymore. Ugh. He felt that his body was still a little heavy and his head was a little dizzy. Thinking about what he had gone through, he could not help but shiver. Other than receiving the Dragon God order, he had never been in so much pain in his life. Sima Yue pushed the door open and saw that he was awake. She said, "You're awake? Just in time to eat porridge." Fushi saw that she was carrying a tray and felt a little hungry after hearing what she said. He sat up and realized that he was not wearing any clothes. His little face turned red. Sima Yue saw that he was shy and held back her laughter. She placed the porridge on the table and sat down with her back facing him. She said, "Which part of your body have I not seen before? Hurry up, the porridge is going to turn cold and it will affect the efficacy of the medicine." Fushi's face turned even redder. Although he looked like a child, his mental age was 250 years old. How embarrassed would he be if she said that? Although he was grumbling in his heart, he quickly took out a set of clean clothes and put them on. He then went to wash up before sitting beside Sima Yue. Sima Yue had already scooped a bowl of porridge for him. There was a bowl of medicinal porridge and 3 light dishes. "It smells so good. What porridge is this?" Fushi asked. "This is a medicinal porridge specially made for your condition," Sima Yue said. "Are you feeling a little dizzy now? You'll feel better after eating this." "You made all of this?" Fushi drank a mouthful of porridge. It tasted extraordinarily good. "Yeah." Fushi's smile deepened, and he felt warm in his heart. She was so good to him. Chapter 1979. Actually, He knew that Sima Yue was so nice to him because she promised to save him and because he was recommended by the old principal. But more importantly, he gave her the Northern God seal. Without it, she wouldn't be so devoted to him. Brother Lingyu is so lucky. He envied Wu Lingyu for being loved by Sima Yue. I'm very lucky too. Sima Yue saw that he finished the porridge in a few gulps and gave him another bowl. You can only eat this bowl. You just woke up and your body has been through so much. Eat less now. Okay. Fushi drank 2 small bowls of porridge and felt a warm feeling spread from his stomach to his whole body. It cleared his muddled mind. Yue, you're amazing. I feel like you know everything. How can I know everything? I'm not omnipotent. It's just that what you see is what I know. Sima Yue said, you should digest the medicine in your body properly. We'll continue in a few days. Fushi felt a little weak when he thought about the pain from the electric shock and the medicine bath. Sima Yue smiled and said, do you feel your body's condition now? Hearing her say this, Fushi immediately sensed it and found that his body was much stronger than before. This effect could be said to be immediate. He was pleasantly surprised and said excitedly, how can this be? This is great. This process is very painful, but you have to endure it. After all, we don't have much time left. Sima Yue said, yes. Fushi liked the way she said we. It was clearly his problem, but she treated it as if it was a problem between the two of them. It felt so close to her. I've already told Master Zhou that I'll be staying here for a few months. If you want to go out, don't wander around, understand? Okay, I understand. Sima Yue reminded him a few more times before leaving. Fushi's injuries were not completely healed. After she left, he climbed back into bed to rest. He lay on the bed and looked at the top of the mosquito net. Then he brought his hands to his eyes, clenched them, released them, and clenched them again. Then he chuckled. That's great. Finally, there was hope for survival. Finally, he didn't have to worry about dying when his body couldn't take it anymore. How nice. Sima Yue returned to her room. Wu Lingyu was reading a book inside. When she saw Sima Yue, she snorted and said, you're so nice to him. Knowing that he was about to wake up, she cooked the porridge and sent it to him. Why don't I get injured too? All right, if you're injured, I'll cook porridge for you too. You can try, Sima Yue replied. I saw that there was no medicinal porridge, but there was a plank. Sima Yue gave him a knowing look. Whenever she thought of Fushi, she would think of the North Divine Seal, and her mood would drop. Sigh. She couldn't help but sigh. What would she do if he told her that the Northern Divine Seal in her hands was not real? Don't worry. Wu Lingyu held her hand. I don't want to think about it, but I just can't help it. No matter when, I'll be here. If there's really no other way, I'll call all the people from the Devil World over and flip over the Avicii Hell. We'll be able to save your mother. How can the Devil World make such a big fuss just because of me? Although she said that, she was still very happy that he said so. How is this your problem? It's my problem. I'm still waiting for your mother to be released so that I can marry you. This is a matter that concerns my lifelong happiness. Wu Lingyu said with a serious face. Puffed, smooth talker. Sima Yue poked his head and finally laughed. Wu Lingyu hugged her and let her sit on his lap. He stole a kiss on her lips and said, I did so well. Shouldn't I be rewarded? Didn't you just ask for it? Sima Yue stared at him. That's not enough. As they spoke, their lips were already entangled together. When Yin Jin and Bandit came over, they only saw Huan staring at the sky in a daze in the courtyard. She's not free now, Huan said. I have business with her. Come back later. Huan was determined not to let the two go over. Then let's wait here. Sima Yue and Wu Lingyu heard the movement outside and separated. Sima Yue glared at him. It was all his fault. She didn't even need to think to know that her lips must look red and swollen. Haha, it's okay. Wu Lingyu wiped her red lips and smiled charmingly. Yin Jin and Bandit waited for a while before Sima Yue opened the door and asked, What's the matter? At a glance, Yin Jin saw her lips, which were redder than usual, and immediately understood why Huan stopped him. Bandit 1 and I are going out for a walk. Do you want to come with us? Yin Jin asked. Sima Yue wanted to say no, but she thought that she didn't need to care about Fushi's affairs now. She asked Huan to stay here and protect him. She and Ling Yu went with them. Since they were here, it was better for them to go out and understand the situation. Huan wanted to go with them, but he couldn't ignore Sima Yoyue's order. Thinking that she now had an ancient war soul, he agreed. As soon as Sima Yue and the other three left the courtyard, the Zhou family knew. Zhou thought about it and didn't let anyone disturb them. He just asked people to pay attention to their situation. Since they chose to go out by themselves, they shouldn't disturb them. Patriarch, she could do whatever she wants. Even if the little princess is the daughter of the Dark Princess, we don't have to treat her so politely, right? The second elder was impatient and asked directly. You, Zhou pointed at him. We treat her well, so naturally we won't lose out. Isn't it just repaying a debt of gratitude? Is there a need to do this? The second elder didn't understand. We are also people here. Even if she is a princess, we don't have to flatter her too much. But what if she is related to the Jiuyu clan? The Jiuyu clan? How can it be? Why not? Are you so sure? Zhou asked. Do you know something, Patriarch? The second elder asked. I'm just guessing. Zhou said, if she is related to the Jiuyu clan, we should treat her well now. It's better than waiting for our relationship to be exposed. But what if she has nothing to do with the Jiuyu clan? Or their relationship isn't good, and they're even worried? Won't that bring us trouble? What trouble will there be? When the time comes, we can say that we are treating her well now, not because of her mother's kindness to us, right? We're just repaying the kindness and won't get involved in her grievances. The second elder's eyes lit up. Patriarch, you are so thoughtful. Their plan was very good, but they soon regretted it. They were caught off guard by reality. Chapter 1980. For the rest of the time, Sima Yue treated Fushi and rarely went out. On the other hand, Yin Shi and Bandit One often went out. In the first month, she gave Fushi electric shocks every half a month, a big medicinal bath every 10 days, and a normal medicinal bath every 3 days. In the second month, she gave him electric shocks every 10 days, a big medicinal bath every 5 days, and a small medicinal bath every day. In the third month, she gave him electric shocks every 5 days, a big medicinal bath every 3 days, and a small medicinal bath every day. In the fourth month, she changed the electric shocks to every 3 days. As her treatment improved, Fushi's body changed at a speed visible to the naked eye. It was not that he grew taller, but the aura on his body became stronger. He was no longer an ordinary child. Fushi now had a certain degree of adaptability to the electric current. The initial intensity of the electric current would make him lie down for 10 days to half a month, but now he only felt a little pain. Yue, I feel that I can now break a big rock with my palm. Fushi waved his hand happily in the bathtub. Don't move, I'm not done yet. Sima Yue patted his head and continued to collect the needles. Fushi smiled and retracted his hand, quietly letting her collect the needles. Sima Yue collected all the silver needles and turned around to pack up. She said to him, you can get up now. Thinking back, he fainted the first time, but now he could stay awake. This improvement was really fast. Ugh, there was no rustling sound behind her, but Fushi groaned in pain. She turned around and saw Fushi holding the bathtub in pain. What happened to you? She walked over to see if she did something wrong. Fushi grabbed her hand. His face was pale. Yue, the power of the dragon god is coming out. Sima Yue estimated that it would happen in a few days. Hearing this, her hanging heart was half relieved. So it's this. She retracted her hand, took out a golden pill, and stuffed it into his mouth. This was refined for you before. It can help you absorb the power of the dragon god. Once you've absorbed all the power, you'll truly possess it. Fushi felt that after eating the pill, the power seemed to have calmed down a little. However, it did not completely submit to him. It was still resisting, running all over his body, attacking his meridians, internal organs, and every inch of his flesh and bones. He tried to control them and guide them into his dantian, But the divine dragon's power was too fierce, and he couldn't control it all. He remembered that when he was 7 years old, he had also experienced the same pain. It should be said that it was even more painful. At that time, he had fainted and did not know what had happened. However, when he woke up, he knew that it was his master and the others who had saved him. Moreover, his master and the others had been in seclusion for a long time. It was only now that he truly understood how much effort his master had put into controlling the divine dragon's power. If he could survive this, he would definitely treat them better in the future. If he could really make it through this hurdle, the more he tried to suppress it, the more the dragon god's power resisted. Just as he was about to lose control, a scorching energy flowed into his body from his wrist. He opened his eyes with difficulty and saw Sima Yoyue's bright eyes filled with encouragement. "Don't panic," she comforted him softly. His originally desperate and panicked heart calmed down. In this life, he would never forget this pair of eyes, never forget this scene. Sima Yue used her spiritual power to wrap the vermilion bird's flame into his body. Although it was only a strand, every second consumed 10% of her spiritual power. Very soon, she was feeling a little tired. She took out a bunch of pills and swallowed them, then controlled the flame to approach the dragon god's power. The power that was originally running wild in Fushi's body perhaps still had the consciousness of the dragon god. When it saw the vermilion bird's flame, it was first excited, then it calmed down and allowed her to guide it into his dantian. When a little went in, the rest followed. When Sima Yue saw that the rest of the power did not go berserk, she was relieved and retreated. The moment the vermilion bird's flame left Fushi's body, she couldn't support her body and fell backwards. "Yue." Fushi opened his eyes and saw her fall to the ground. He wanted to get up, but found that he was being controlled and couldn't move at all. At the same time, Wu Lingyu suddenly appeared beside her and hugged her unconscious body. He looked at her and said, "Don't let her efforts go to waste." After saying that, he carried her to the bed and gave her a pill. Seeing that she didn't react, his eyes were as deep as water. Fushi understood what Wu Lingyu meant. If he stopped now, the dragon god's power might go out of control again, and Yue's efforts would go to waste. He had no way out now and could only continue. Thinking of this, he calmed down and continued to guide the spiritual power into his dantian. With the influx of power, he felt that his strength was increasing. This was the power that belonged to him. Finally, he was no longer the host of this power. When he had completely absorbed the power in his body, his aura had completely changed. He opened his eyes, and a sharp light flashed in them. It took a while for it to fade away. He waited for his aura to stabilize before immediately getting out of the bathtub. He put on his clothes and walked to the bed. He looked at Sima Yue and asked, "How is she?" She overused her spiritual power and completely collapsed. Wu Lingyu answered him, "It's all because of me." Fushi blamed himself. If it wasn't for guiding the power in his body, she wouldn't be like this. Using spiritual power to envelop the vermilion bird's flame, he knew how much energy it took to do that. Not to mention protecting him from being injured and guiding the dragon god's power into his dantian. She really did a lot for him. This is her own choice. Wu Lingyu said lightly. If blaming him could make her wake up, then he would. But it was useless. Although Wu Lingyu said this, Fushi still felt sorry for her and asked, "Do you need us to do anything?" "No need." She rejected him directly. So hurt. Wu Lingyu didn't care about his feelings and continued, "Go and pack up those things." Fushi wanted to guard Sima Yue, but after being glanced at by Wu Lingyu, he obediently left. When Huan came in, Sima Yue was still not awake. He took out a jade bottle and said, "Let her drink this." Wu Lingyu didn't know what it was, but she knew that Huan wouldn't harm her, so she fed her the liquid inside. After drinking the whole bottle, her aura became much more stable, but she showed no signs of waking up. Huan saw Wu Lingyu looking at him and said, "She's hurt too deeply. She won't wake up so soon." After half a day, Sima Yue woke up and saw Wu Lingyu's worried eyes when she opened her eyes. Chapter 1981. In 1 second, she remembered Love Divided by You. Read book, web quick update, no pop-up window, free to read. Yue, how do you feel? My head hurts. Her voice was weak, as if she was being pricked by needles. Of course it hurts. You've overdrawn your mental strength. Juan's face was dark. You've always been very sensible. This time, how could you? When he saw that Sima Yu was still smiling at him, he couldn't vent the anger in his heart. Is Fushi okay? She asked. You're about to die. Why do you care about others? Yanjin came out from the side and snorted. He knew that Sima Yu had done these things for Fushi, but he did not expect that she would make herself like this. Moreover, that little fellow was obviously not an ordinary person. Seeing him today, it was obvious that his entire person was different. I'm happy. Sima Yu glared at him. If it were not for her body, she would have replied to him. Yue, I'm here, I'm fine. Fushi came to the bedside. His eyes were red, his nose was red, and his eyelashes were still wet. It was obvious that he just cried. Except for his two masters, no one had ever been so good to him. Although those people admired his identity and status, how many of them were sincere? And she had almost lost her life for him. At the thought of this, he felt like crying. Sima Yu saw that he was fine, smiled slightly, and then fell asleep again. Seeing her sleep like this, Fushi's tears flowed down again. He never knew that he would cry when he saw a weak person. Little guy, she saved you, and you paid her. You should have seen this kind of thing a lot. Do you cry every time? Jean teased. No. Then why are you crying? I mean, those people would not treat me like this. Fushi said, I've seen at least 299 doctors, but no one treated me like this. He had also paid them a lot of money, but they all took the things and left. Perhaps they had put in a lot of effort, but no one could do this for him. It was only her, so he would only cry for her. After that, Zhou and the others also came to visit her. Although they were curious as to how she ended up like this, everyone was willing to answer their questions, so they left after some polite words. After that, he sent over a lot of medicinal herbs that were useful for mental strength. Wu Lingyu collected the herbs and refined them into pills for Yue. Sima Yue slept for 3 days before waking up. Wu Lingyu was wiping her hands. Seeing her open her eyes, he asked, You're awake? How long have I been asleep? Sima Yue stretched out her hand, wanting to rub her aching head. There were already fingers massaging her temples. Including the first day, it's been 4 days. Wu Lingyu rubbed her head. How do you feel? Do you feel better? I feel much better, but I still feel nauseous and dizzy. Sima Yue leaned on his palm. You're not allowed to do such things again. You scared us all. Although Wu Lingyu did not say it, Sima Yue knew that he was angry. I know, there won't be a next time. Sima Yue said, but I thought that I would go to the chaos world again. Last time, her mental strength had been overdrawn, so she went to the chaos world and was brought out by him. At that time, she did not realize that she was very dependent on him. How can it be so easy to go to the chaos world? You were just lucky that time. Wu Lingyu said, Lingyu, I feel that it was not a coincidence that I went to the chaos world. There should be a reason. Sima Yue said, maybe it has something to do with my identity. You mean the Nine Nether clan? Yes. The Nine Nether clan is actually the Black Lotus clan. The Black Lotus was born in the Chaos River. Whether it is or not, you can't verify it now. All right, don't think so much. Do you want to rest for a while more? Wu Lingyu asked. No, my head hurts even if I sleep more. Sima Yue shook her head slightly. What about Fushi? How is he? He has completely recovered. He has absorbed the Divine Dragon's power, and his body is growing normally. He came for you to treat him. Now that he has been treated, he can leave. Wu Lingyu said. Sima Yue was stunned. He's leaving? Should be soon. Fushi heard him outside and pursed his lips. Sima Yue's mental strength was injured and did not know that he was outside. This guy definitely knew. He said that on purpose for him to hear. He did not want to go back. He wanted to follow her. He walked in and said with a smile, Yue, you're awake. If you didn't wake up, I would have to commit suicide to atone for my sins. Will you? Sima Yue sat up. Your new life has just begun. Can you bear to do that? For you? Of course I can bear to do that. Fushi said seriously. But aren't you going to leave? Leave? Where to? I want to follow you. Fushi shouted. Yue, are you chasing me away? You've already recovered. Why aren't you leaving? Your master and the rest should be waiting for you, right? Wu Lingyu raised his eyebrows and chased him away. It seems like I've recovered, but who knows if something will happen again in the future. After all, this is something that no one has experienced before. If something happens, what will I do? I won't be able to find you then. Fushi looked at her pitifully. That's true. Your situation has never happened before, and there are no records. I can't be sure if you've recovered. Sima Yue said, then let's observe for a while. Also, I think that after absorbing the Divine Dragon's power, your bloodline might change in the future. Will it awaken the bloodline in my body? Will I turn into a dragon? Fushi shouted. Sima Yue was surprised. You have the bloodline of the dragon clan in your body? It said that my ancestor has it, but no one has seen it. Fushi said, I think it's very likely. After all, the Divine Dragon Order wouldn't choose you for no reason. Sima Yue said, if that's the case, then we have to observe your future situation. Don't be in a hurry to go back. Okay. Fushi agreed and smiled at Wu Lingyu. That smile was very proud. Yue, are you awake? Yin Jin's voice came from outside. Sima Yue gave Fushi a look, and he immediately went out. Very quickly, Yin Jin walked in carrying a child covered in blood. When he saw that Sima Yue had woken up, he casually placed the child on a stool, saying, Take a look. Can this child be saved? The child looked about the same size as Fushi. He was covered in wounds, and his facial features were unrecognizable. His clothes were tattered, and there was no place left untouched. He leaned weakly on the chair and fainted. You're tuning in to the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.